Welcome to the Goodyear 400 here at Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. Let's go over and join pre-race ceremonies.
Remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Sumter Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome the 1988 Darlington Raceway Trans-South 500 winner, Lake Speed.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today with thanks and praise. Just can't thank you enough for loving us and choosing us. Thank you for this amazing racetrack, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for the drivers and the crew members and all the people that are here today. We just ask you to keep us all safe, get us all home safely, and we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the 282nd Army Band from Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Pre-race ceremonies complete here with the national anthem and invocation. We'll be joining our commentary team of Seth Eves, Matt White and Matthew Owens leading it in a little while, but 293 laps ahead of us round this Darlington Raceway for the NASCAR Throwback Weekend. 75 years of the Wood Brothers Racing Team and 75 years of Darlington here for the NASCAR Throwback Weekend. Every car in a throwback livery. And we'll be joining for the grid momentarily, as I mentioned, just about to hit 8 p.m. here. BST, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. in Europe. JT with you producing and behind the scenes. I might pipe up as well if I need to. But we are around 13 minutes away from the green flag. Green flag scheduled here at 8:12, 3:12 Eastern. here at Darlington. Let's have a quick look at the radar. 10% chance of rain, but as you can see, let's just transition over it to now. Darlington Raceway is here. We are clear for now. This to the north of us, but that is going completely to the north of us. So weather at the moment is clear and should stay clear for a little bit. A little bit of rain drizzle here just north of the circuit, but as you can see, it starts strengthening. It is just disappearing just to the north of the raceway. That is our radar screen. We also have our laps and rundown screen, the full laps and rundown screen. Then we've got battle screen 1, battle screen 2, and battle screen 3, which is the battle screen. Hopefully, is the main battle screen, and hopefully the big laps and rundown bit on the bottom right, I hopefully will be able to sort the driver tracker out once we throw over to USRN. And we're just working out when to be able to transition. But first, let's go over to Fox, who are talking with Leonard Wood as a couple of Wood Brothers cars go around the circuit.
It's been a very exciting week for me.
Thank you for all that you and the family did for the sport. I'm going to let you go over. He's going to give the command to fire engines, Mike.
Yeah, the entire Wood Brothers family team, 3 generations worth, are being honored here on the occasion of their 75th anniversary in NASCAR. So, let's go trackside.
Darlington Raceway. Let's give a big NASCAR welcome to this historic family, the Wood Brothers family. In celebration of their 75th anniversary, they are here to say the most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Engines fired here for the Goodyear 400 here at Darlington Raceway, and we will start to get ready. We'll be going through the grid in a moment with USRN just going through their ones to watch, and we'll join USRN just after they've done ones to watch, and we'll join them for the grid when they are on the rolling laps.
Reasons why this track has made its mark on the sport since opening its doors back in 1950. Not only is Darlington NASCAR's oldest superspeedway, but it also features an egg-like shape unlike any other track in the circuit. Drivers will be pushed to their limits as they tackle the track's tight, unforgiving corners, its abrasive surface, and progressive banking. You'll see drivers often racing a high line, coming extremely close to the wall as they round corners. This allows drivers to carry more speed through the corners, giving them an advantage as they enter straightaways. Darlington is often referred to as the Lady in Black, since cars leave black tire scuffs on the wall from racing such a high line. We caught up with driver Chase Briscoe to talk about why racing at Darlington is so special.
Running around Darlington is probably the most fun you're ever having in a race car. It's just such a challenge. It's such a unique racetrack. You know, turns 1 and 2 are complete opposites of turns 3 and 4. You're slipping, sliding around, you're right on the wall, and it's just got this intimidation factor and this level of respect that it asks for.
This weekend is all about tradition, as NASCAR celebrates Throwback Weekend. You can expect to see your favorite cars with iconic throwback paint schemes to honor legendary drivers. As we celebrate NASCAR's rich history, one driver will write history of their own when they pull into victory lane. Last year, Brad Keselowski and Chase Briscoe proved they had what it takes to conquer Darlington Raceway. Who will rise to the occasion today? Let's find out.
38 cars getting ready to take to the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway for this Goodyear 400. Let's go back to Fox.
Full racetrack after a trip to Indianapolis. He wanted something like it in the South. It opened in 1950, and here it is. "18 different drivers finished in the top 10 in last year's 2 races here. Briscoe and Hamlin, the only ones to double up. You don't want to lead the most laps here. You won't be in front at the finish. 9 drivers snapped 50-plus race winless streaks here at Darlington, including Keselowski and Briscoe last year, so root for the underdog. Well, I don't know where Clinton Kevin went, so I've enlisted my old partner and booth mate Larry McReynolds to dial up our pole sitter today.
Yeah, let's dial up William Byron. William, the guy's in the Fox booth. You got me? Willie B, Larry Mack in the Fox booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, Larry, I got you. What's up?
Well, buddy, yesterday you turned the fastest qualifying lap ever been turned at Darlington in this Gen 7 car, but that was 1 lap on sticker tires. How about 293 laps today? Not to mention, buddy, it's hot and slick.
Yeah, for sure. It's hot, and I feel like the racetrack's going to be changing constantly, so just gotta keep up with that. This place is a lot of fun. It's a big challenge, so I look forward to it.
William, you won here 2 years ago, so you know what it takes to get around this racetrack, but what about the discipline to run around a track that was designed for about 100 miles an hour slower than you're running and running right against the wall?
Yeah, it's just, you know, there's a lot of imperfections about this place. The wall doesn't really track straight, so you're always looking for little imperfections where you can make a difference, and I feel like that's what makes it a lot of fun, because you can move around and find some of the, you know, cutouts in the track that are different.
Well, good luck, buddy. I know Rick's at home watching. He's ready for another Darlington win.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you, man.
Let's go over to your commentary team. Matthew Owens, Seth Eves, and Matt White for the remainder of the starting grid.
Chevrolet just behind. John Hunter Nemechek in the leading Legacy Motor Club car on the grid. He starts 27. The Beefaroo colours adorn the number 4 of Noah Gregson. He starts 26. And as we talked about in the pre-show, Ross Chastain will be further down the grid, and he would have liked. He starts 25th in the number 1 Busch Light car for Trackhouse. Josh Berry, our Las Vegas winner, is 24th. Austin Dillon is 23rd. AJ Allmendinger lines up in 22nd position. And Justin Haley in the Gamebridge Chevrolet is 21st.
The Castrol 7 Critical Areas Ford for the defending race winner Brad Keselowski rolls off 20th. Kyle Larson starts 19th in the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. That car won here some 22 years ago. More on that later. Joey Logano rolls off 18th, the Shell Pennzoil Ford. 17th starter is Christopher Bell, car 20, the DeWalt Outdoors Toyota. The 16th starter is young Zane Smith, looking to fish a victory in the Long John Silver's Ford. 15th starter is Chase Elliott, the Universe Chevrolet, in a car that's as bland as he is. 14th starter is Chris Buescher for Prosper, Texas, the 5th Third Bank Ford. 13th starter is Carson Hocevar from the state of Michigan, the Ziegler Auto Group Chevrolet. Not the Zakai Ziegler Auto Group that I can love. 12th is Todd Gilliland from Cheryl's Ford, North Carolina, in the Rudabush Ford. And starting 11th, the aforementioned Ty Gibbs needs a good run today in the Monster Energy Toyota.
From 10th on the grid is Michael McDowell. From 9th is Ryan Blaney from High Point, North Carolina, in career start 350 today. Starting 8th is Kyle Busch for Richard Childress Racing. He's in the 4th row alongside Tyler Reddick's McDonald's Toyota. Austin Cindric starts 6th alongside Darrell Wallace Jr., who's been 3rd each of the last 2 weeks. Starting 4th is last year's Southern 500 winner at Darlington, Chase Briscoe in the Bass Pro Shops Toyota. Starting 3rd, last week's winner and 4-time Darlington winner, Denny Hamlin. And from the front row, starting 2nd, Ryan Preece in the Kroger Country Crock Ford in the top 10 each of the last 3 races. And on the pole for the 15th time in his career and a past winner of this race, William Byron in a Jeff Gordon throwback, Axalta Chevrolet. That's the starting grid for the Goodyear 400 at Darlington. Live on USRN and JBM. Glad to have you with us from Darlington, South Carolina. Should be a fantastic race. We are excited for it. Always fun to come to Darlington, especially in these conditions. 293 laps of the race today, 400 miles and a bit, 644 kilometers. First stage will go 90 laps. The second will go 95. The final stage is 108 laps long. The race record for the 400 was set here in 1993 by Dale Earnhardt at an average speed of 139.958 miles an hour. And let's take a swing around this historic Darlington racetrack. Egg-shaped racetrack. That is one of the unique characteristics of the track. We'll talk about why it is shaped like that later in the show. Front straightaway here, 1,229 feet long, just about tabletop flat, only mild banking, very narrow, and it's met by a very narrow set of corners. Turns 1 and 2. Matt White's high atop today.
Thank you, Matthew. Down here in the bigger of the two corners at turns 1 and 2. It all gets very tight and narrow on the exit of turn 2 onto the back straight, though, where there has been a very big bump over the last couple of years, which they've tried to sort out with repatching and repaving. Caught them out in the last couple of years. We shouldn't have an effect today, but depending on how long the race runs, but they'll be running straight into the sunlight down the back straightaway later on this afternoon, into the view of Mr. Seth Eves.
Yeah, thank you very much. They'll thunder down that back straightaway, and then they'll head into turns 3 and 4, which is the old 1 and 2, and the gap really narrows there. You want to go 2 wide there, be my guest. You want to go 3 wide there, well, you're just asking for trouble. So it narrows up, and then you'll kiss that wall a little bit, and some drivers like a Kyle Larson might want to flirt with that wall and try to get a run off 4 with good momentum. That way it sets them up for a run to the checkers. The back half of the Darlington Raceway is where so many great moments have happened over the years. It should be the case again here today. I'll have all the action from the back half of the Darlington Raceway in South Carolina on the flip side.
Seth, on top of the Earnhardt Towers there, which is on the entry to turn 3, that used to be the entry to turn 1. This racetrack was flip-flopped in 1997 prior to the Southern 500. The back stretch was the front was the back. Turns 1 and 2 was 3 and 4. You get the picture. It was flip-flopped because they wanted to make bigger grandstands. This was in the boom period for NASCAR, with more fans coming to the track each and every year. They wanted a bigger grandstand, but they couldn't do it on the back straightaway because of the highway that runs back there. So they flip-flopped to the track because they had more room to put bigger grandstands on the back stretch, which became the front stretch. That's how the format of the racetrack is currently laid out.
And of course, also, let's not forget how the track originally came to shape, because one of the rare times in the history of ever where all of America and a good portion of the population benefited from someone being crotchety. You see, there's a man here, current 3 and 4 location, that had a pond, had a little pond, and well, he didn't want his pond to be messed with. So NASCAR's like, okay, you keep your pond, we'll just make the racetrack an egg-shaped oval. And well, I think his crotchetiness paid off big time.
Yeah, Sherman Ramsey had the minnow pond back there, and they basically wanted to make a current day homestead. They wanted it to be a true oval with high banks. They were well ahead of their time, but yeah, Mr. Ramsey didn't want the minnow pond disturbed, thank you. So, egg-shaped oval, and this was NASCAR's OG super speedway. We know super speedways these days as Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. This was known as the first super speedway, however. And back in those days, you didn't have tracks banked at 20-plus degrees in the corners. All right, Matt, you got the whiteboard wheeled up there, and hopefully a fan and other things to keep you cool. What you got on your mind today?
Yeah, hopefully the heat doesn't affect the pens. On the whiteboard, as always, it needs to be bold and underlined every week, but especially here, and especially if we get to green flag pit stops, pit road. We've seen many dramas over the last few weeks, all the way back to Las Vegas, you think, with wheels coming off, and there was clashes in pit lane at the very tricky pit lane at Martinsville last week. Pit road always key here at Darlington, especially getting in, because there is so much tarmac down there under the feet of Seth Eves in turn 3. It's hard to pick out where the entrance to pit lane is and the commitment box, especially when we get the green flag pit stops, that could be key. Keep your car straight and true as well as best you can. The Darlington strike will be in effect. We'll have the count for you, I'm sure, throughout the day for people running up and to the wall and hopefully not knocking it down. And thirdly, on the whiteboard today, let's just enjoy some history. 75 years of coming to this racetrack. It's a big one. It's special. We know it is. And hopefully we get a cracking 400 miles in the sunshine.
And as always, they've packed the grandstands here at Darlington, and everyone is getting set to get to their feet because we just got one to go. So the start of the Goodyear 400 coming up in just moments. As the field comes up out of turn number 2 behind the pace vehicle double file, and we are ready to go. Darlington, so special, so historic, so steeped in history, Seth Eves, and today we write another chapter into the Darlington history books as NASCAR Throwback Weekend is set to go in the Goodyear 400.
Pretty big sports day for this state. South Carolina's women's basketball team just kicked off their national championship game, and here in the PD region, the first of the twice annual Thunder Roar for the NASCAR Cup Series. Everybody loves it. Cousin Carl's on the flag stand. Matthew Owens, the pride of Walnut Cove, North Carolina, gets the toss for the South Carolinian to get this race started.
William Byron, the pole sitter, choosing the outside lane to start on. NASCAR Hall of Famer Carl Edwards throws the green flag up into the air, and it's time to drop the hammer at tough old Darlington.
The Jeff Gordon special of William Byron gets the whole shot advantage down to turn number 1. He'll sweep across the nose of Ryan Preece. 2 and 3 wide. It looks like, well, mostly 2 wide as they come out of turn number 2 for the first time, but it's Byron with his nose in front.
First 3 cars are single file. Denny Hamlin inside of Austin. I knew I was going to slip up with a throwback at lunch today, and there it was right there.
William Byron comes to the line. He leads lap number 1, the 7th race he's led this season.
Byron from Preece, Briscoe, Cindric, and Hammer in the top 5. Wallace, Bush, Reddick, McDowell, and Blaney, the rest of the top 10 as the cars fly their way through turn number 2 up to full speed. And here is Carson Husserl trying to make a move. Ryan Blaney also in a battle here with the 71 of McDowell.
Well, he sent it big time into turns 3 and 4, and he's going to get by McDowell and Tyler Reddick. Look at Blaney go early.
Blaney on the move alongside Reddick as he crosses the stripe in a battle for the 8th position.
Yeah, side by side they go through turn 1. And Blaney has the inside running, and he'll try and force his way through at the exit of turn 2 on Reddick, who stays tough on the outside.
Reddick stays just ahead of Blaney. Blaney now packs it in. Behind him, you've got Todd Gilliland trying to make a move to the inside of Michael McDowell. Meanwhile, here's a battle Briscoe and Cindric off 4.
Yeah, Austin Cindric to the left elbow of the most recent Cup Series Darlington winner.
Just Briscoe getting that big victory in the Southern 500 last year to get himself into the playoffs. He's hoping for another one of those this afternoon, but he's lost 3rd place for the moment. Cindric in the deuce up to 3rd.
Cindric looking really well up in that 3rd position. Briscoe now back to 4th. Trouble, Kyle Larson back straight away. Oh, he's pancaked it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the Tony the Tiger throwback just got greatly pounded into the wall. And one of the heavy hitters has found trouble in the early going this afternoon.
Well, this is a shocking development, Matt. One of the favorites. Of course, he's one of the favorites every week, but especially at this track. What happened as they exited turn 2?
Just lost it on the inside of another car. Couldn't quite see who it was coming out of turn number 2. I said it gets narrow and tight there, and slid down towards the old pit wall. And as Seth mentioned, pancaked the front. Some teeth missing from Tony the Tiger at the moment for Kyle Larson. And my pick for today is the first person to get involved in an incident. But sorry, Kyle.
He won the Southern 500 here in 2023. He dominated the Southern 500 last year. In fact, he's had a lot of races here where he's led a bunch of laps, but hasn't won. He's not going to lead any laps today. His car has come to a stop midway down the back straightaway. The nose caved in on his Terry Labonte throwback Chevrolet. It's the old Kellogg's, not the old, but the 2001, 2, 3 era Kellogg's scheme that Labonte scored his final career Cup Series win with in the Southern 500 right here in Darlington in 03. And that is a lovely, lovely paint scheme that unfortunately is torn up here.
Yeah, sorry to jump because sometimes I have back strength, and I laid out for 3 seconds after the original call to let Matt finish it, and I didn't hear anything. So well, we can't have dead air on radio. So sometimes the backstretch crosses get confusing at times. So sorry if I jumped over you there, Matt. But yeah.
And no, you're all good. It was it took me a moment to sort of recalibrate the brain instead of me and Mr. Owens doing sort of half the track each for the last however many weeks to add you back into the mixture.
So, under caution, didn't even make it 5 green flag laps for the yellow to fly. And again, it's Larson who finds trouble. Talk about how many laps he's led at this racetrack, Matt, and has found strange ways not to win here. It was the Southern 500 of 2018 where he led 284 laps and won both the stages, but didn't win. That was when he was driving for Chip Ganassi. In fact, Matt, he's led over 100 laps at Darlington 4 times, and he's never won any of those races.
That's a few tracks on the schedule like that, aren't there, from the sort of end of Ganassi, early portion of the Hendrick days for him. But obviously got that turned around very, very smartly over the last couple of years. But yeah, looks like he's going to be our first retiree. We've got our first takers on pit road after only 5 laps of green flag.
Yeah, no shock to see guys already coming to pit road. Not everybody, but drivers are on pit road here despite only running about 4 hard laps on tires. Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Darrell Wallace Jr., Denny Hamlin, all on pit road. Joey Logano also in. Wallace will lead the group that did come down pit road. Leads them off. Ryan Blaney was in. Alex Bowman, Justin Haley. Also saw Josh Berry and Eric Jones. So about 15-ish on pit road here. So we'll have to watch those guys. As slow on the right rear of the Shane Van Gisbergen. Oh, very slow.
Well, they've already got pit crew members suspended after the wheel that came off last week, so it's rumbling on again for Team 88 by the looks of things.
As we mentioned, it has been a struggle for that 88 team to start the season. 34th in the championship standings. Boy, is he looking forward to Father's Day weekend and going to Mexico.
True, but his 2 Xfinity starts here at this racetrack last year ended up with P7 and P13. So, and considering he hadn't practiced or qualified going into the first one,
yeah,
it was a pretty decent couple of results for Shane. It was Joey Logano that Kyle Larson was trying to race off a turn 2, and just the rear came around.
Yeah, no contact there between those two.
Ryan Blaney slid a little bit long in his box. The crew had to adjust there, but didn't lose out too badly in our replay from Fox at the beginning. He had to back up and get his way out, though.
Blaney's throwback today is throwing back to his father, Dave, and his one win in the Busch Series, on the Busch Series circuit, a wacky race at Charlotte in 2006.
Not quite as Kawhi Leonard cringe-inducing as my laugh at the Warriors-Lakers game the other night, but bring that broadcast up. But
all right, so we're coming towards the restart. Darrell Wallace Jr., the first car.
Real quick, I'm speaking code for Matt White real quick. That broadcast was Exhibit A of USRN No Filter. That was the night.
Pace car about to pull off. Darrell Wallace Jr., the first car in line that pitted under this caution, restarting in 17th position. So we'll keep an eye on that 23. It's the 24 of William Byron with Austin Cindric on the front row. Byron on the outside of row 1. Green flag waves once again, and we're back racing at the completion of lap 8. Good restart for Byron, pushed from behind by Ryan Preece.
Yeah, Preece elected to take the outside and go in behind the leader, giving Cindric the run on the inside. He'll go to second. 3 wide further back Carson Osvar in the middle. And very close between Cindric and Priest coming out of turn 2.
Very close indeed. They might have traded a little paint. Byron scoots away by about 4 car lengths over the second place battle between Ryan Priest and Austin Cindric.
Already Wallace going between cars further back to try to make up places. Meanwhile, Priest does clear Cindric for second.
Yeah, Cindric lifted coming out of turn number 4 and got himself back in line. Byron has skipped away to the tune of about 3 or 4 car lengths from Priest as those two battled away. Kyle Busch up in the 4th place ahead of Chase Briscoe.
Meanwhile, 6th place, you got Todd Gilliland trying to make a move up on Michael McDowell. Chris Buescher falls in line behind those two. And McDowell, good drive on the inside, and he'll clear McDowell, or will he? Meanwhile, traffic jam further back. Denny Hamlin, Bubba Walls, and a bunch of others.
Traffic jam is the right verbiage to use. Hamlin rides the rim out of turn 4, clears Noah Gragson, clears Tyler Reddick.
Monday morning in downtown Darlington going on here with everybody trying to get through with the new tyres. Tyler Reddick trying to make some moves and gets past John Hunter Nemechek, coming out of 2. Denny Hamlin was stuck in behind there and lost a couple of places.
So here's Denny Hamlin now diving to the inside of John Hunter Nemechek for position. Brad Keselowski's back there in that mess too.
Keselowski trying to thread his way through traffic. He's alongside Noah Gragson as they cross the stripe, and that big pack goes back to the number 1 turn.
Still trying to get themselves sorted out at the moment back here. Keselowski on the inside trying to make a move or two. Ryan Blaney in the middle of this mess as well as they still double file throughout the field. Further forward, Darrell Wallace.
Well, he just blew by Ross Chastain like Chastain was a statue. Goodness gracious. That's amazing what 4 new shoes will do at this place.
I tell you, he's already picked off 7 positions as he makes that pass on Chastain.
Very strong start to the season for the driver and then that whole crew down there at 23, off the back of a couple of podium finishes in a row for them. And he's moving forward in the early stages with the fresh tyres.
Yeah, Chase Elliott's the next driver in his sights. Field is now kind of calmed down single file throughout the back end of this pack, at least for now. As soon as I say that, though, here is Ryan Blaney darting way to the inside. Boy, he is showing some aggressive moves early.
Further up, Wallace is on the hunt still. He goes after Chase Elliott. So Wallace already breaking into the top 10 once more. Further back, Matt, Joey Logano in tight racing.
Yeah, with Noah Gragson, Ryan Blaney just up ahead as well. These guys trying to come through with those newer tyres. Gives you the speed advantage, but you've got to make it work with the traffic around you that haven't taken a pit stop.
Meanwhile, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that Sunny D car, always one of my favorites at any weekend in that one, and he tries to make a move, but William Byron, Matthew, boy, he is lighting it up. What, about 13 car lengths now?
Yeah, 1.5 seconds on the stopwatch is now his lead on Ryan Priest. Austin Cindric rides 3rd. Kyle Busch is 4th. Chase Briscoe is 5th. Rest of the top 10 currently is Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, Darrell Wallace Jr. in 9th after he did complete the pass on Chase Elliott, who runs 10th. Here's Byron back across the stripe. The silver 24, Matt, coming back to turn 1.
Yeah, and coming back quickly as well. And as you said, pulling away from Priest, who's on a bit of an island on his own. Austin Cindric has got Kyle Busch for company. That's the highest up battle at the moment on the racetrack. It's for 3rd place heading towards you, Seth.
Yep, indeed. As Cindric rides in. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch, big dart to the inside. Busch nearly won back in the summer in the Southern 500 last year, 2nd in an epic battle with Briscoe.
Yep, tried to get by Chase Briscoe in those final laps, just couldn't do it. Byron's lead across the line this time north of 2 seconds. He won this race 2 years ago in a throwback 24. Chrome Illusion went to victory lane that day, and no smoke and mirrors were needed to do it as he won.
Matthew, the clever line. That's right.
2023, he won this race. Here's Brad Keselowski, Seth. Who's that? No, that's not Brad Keselowski. It's Baker Mayfield, of course. A cheeky tweet by the RFK guys this weekend.
Yes. Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen in their stables. Hey, those are 2 good ones to have. Those are 2 of my favorites. So I appreciate that.
Those are 2 good ones. If you didn't see, you've had the whole buffoonery of Lamar Jackson going after the Dale Earnhardt Jr. stylized number 8. And apparently they're going to go to court over that. Could you imagine more meaningless thing to do?
God, we need Judge Judy for that. If we're gonna go to court, let's make it a whole stupid spectacle. Get Judge Judy, put it on the CW in prime time. Let's just do it.
Yeah, let's do it. And then RFK on Twitter, and whoever runs the RFK Twitter is very clever, had a very clever tweet putting the picture of the 6 and the 17 in a post saying, we're glad to have Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen's numbers aboard the cars this weekend. Very good. Darrell Wallace Jr. completes another pass in turns 3 and 4, sweeps around Chris Buescher. Wallace has motored his way up to 8th, and now Buescher basically, Matt, shoving Wallace down the straightaway.
Yeah, and Wallace will drive away from the 17 here, you would imagine, as they go through turns 1 and 2. A little bit further back, Noah Gregson in the black and red number 4. Where is he in the order? Just outside top 10. The Beefaroo number 4.
Yep, 26-year-old, Las Vegas, Nevada. He says there's no internet on pit road, so it's kind of a cluster down here. I was saying that's why my SMT is glitching. Uh-oh.
Wow, so that came from downstairs to Noah. So
Where
there's
are we? Gateway?
yeah, exactly. Oh, Lord. So no internet on pit road. Okay, well, behind the scenes, we've had a joke that apparently only Matt would get.
Rob Rinder. That's you get that one, Matthew. Rob Rinder.
Well, yes, indeed. So live here on USRN JBM, just past the 20-lap mark. By the way, I'd like to say hi to our good friend Christian Malley, who's joined us on Mixler again. Says it'll be a great race, even if it is overshadowed by a historical thing that happened in the NHL. Yeah, big congratulations to Alexander Ovechkin, scored career goal 894 earlier today to break the mark of Wayne Gretzky, and now Alex Ovechkin stands alone as the greatest goal scorer in NHL history. Quite the remarkable moment as he scored it on Long Island today against the Islanders. Now that's been a big media tour for the second half of the season. Could he catch and pass Wayne? Now the question becomes over the next, 3-4 seasons, does he stick around long enough to try to get to 1,000 goals? Suppose we'll find out.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll get there in a minute. We'll get there. We'll get more on that Wide World of Sports update coming up at the end.
So glad to have Christian with
forever will now be a question in quizzes around the land that everyone will get wrong. As also getting it wrong is 7.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar has spun out here in turn 3 or exit turn 4, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag. So Carson Hocevar has found some trouble and brings it to pit road.
Flat right rear tire on the 77 for Spire Motorsports. And did this start all the way in turn 2, Matt? I think it did.
Yeah, you got the wall coming out of 2, right side, and then got to turn 3, knowing that he obviously had an issue, and ended up spinning to a standstill just underneath Seth in the on top of the Earnhardt Tower, and caution out for the second time. So now we'll have another field shuffle, because you would imagine everyone that didn't pit the first time is going to come and see the pit lane this time by.
What was that about a trivia question, Matt?
That will now forever be an incorrect trivia question, because if the trivia question ever comes up in a general knowledge quiz of who's the all-time leading goal scorer in the NHL, everyone knows who Wayne Gretzky is.
That's true, yes.
And everyone's going to get it wrong.
Yeah, the great 8 passed the great 1 today with goal 895. Playoffs start in 2 weeks.
If it comes up in a quiz this week, then maybe people will get it right, but give it 6 months.
Yeah, that's right. Stanley Cup playoffs starts in 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks from yesterday. It'll start in a couple of Saturdays.
Jeff Burton on Twitter says, I got held a lap for purposely spinning out with a flat. Wonder what will happen here.
Ooh.
Ashley McCubbin. It's an old school track, and it's supposed to be NASCAR throwback weekend. So rather than worrying about SMT data and internet, let's go back to what it used to be. Feel of your butt and crew chief using their knowledge to make adjustments.
Point.
We want to do that every time we come to Darlington. Just turn off the internet on pit road. I'll support that theory. People
No
would not
pads.
know what to do. Believe me, we didn't know what to do last week when everything was failing on us.
Busher says dirty air, bad in 1 and 2, but he's happy in 3 and 4.
So you're right, Matt. We more than likely will see a number of the front runners come to pit road.
By the way, if I may, the Islanders did win the game 4-1, but who really cares about that?
Right. Correct. We
Yeah.
were on the air today not for the result, but for the record. Indeed. All right. Pit road should be open this time, and who's going to come down pit road? Everybody in the club's going to come down pit road for fresh tires. And let's go down to pit road. We'll go down to pit road. Promise. Even if we have to cover the stops, we'll go to pit road. Chase Briscoe is in. 4 tires already on and off the 19. Kyle Busch is there. Left sides are on the Cheddar's Chevrolet. He takes off. William Byron all the way down towards the end of pit road to turn 1. Hey, Matt, can you see Byron and Priest through your binoculars?
Just about. Priest is done. He's away in the number 60. He will get himself back into the fast lane. William Byron will get away, and he will win the race off pit road by about a car's length or so. Long stop for Joey Logano, who's going to lose a lot of positions, but it looked like everybody came that time, even the guys that pitted the first time round. Byron, Priest, Busch, Cindric, the top 4 off pit road. That will be your running order when we get back to green shortly.
So even the guys that pitted earlier did come to pit road. They had run about 20 laps on their tires, and as we know, Seth, 20 hard laps at Darlington, tires are already shot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It does not take long. It doesn't take long for them to wear out. So if you get them, instead of staying out with 5 to go, you should maybe, if you're in the back, take a gamble and get the fresh ones with 5 to go, because you're going to be in the back anyway. Maybe make up some spots. Don't do like Ryan Newman and Matt Borland did, the Boilermaker Special 20 years ago.
Newman, Schrader, and Edwards, the ones that tried to make that happen. It did not.
Like Brennan Poole and a couple others tried that yesterday.
Yeah,
We were talking before we went on the air for the final format. Like, why would you do that here?
Very good.
Question for the slightly more knowledgeable of this racetrack. When was the last time this place was resurfaced?
2008.
Thought it was just about in my time of being in the sport.
And there was not a large period of time between resurfaces, because they repaved it at the end of the 94 season, just before the 95 races. So they only went 13 years between repaves. We've gone, 17 since the 08 repave. And of course, Collins Jana sharing with us earlier in the week in our USRN group chat how strange it was hearing on that 2008 weekend that guys might not pit under cautions because of the brand new surface. And of course, Jerry Punch. Yeah, we want 4 tires and 2 in the trunk. Thank you.
Oh, Doc.
We will we'll get a report from Seth either at the end of the stage or the next caution. Not a lot of early action in either the NHL or the NBA today, or Major League Baseball. There's a little bit in Major League Baseball. So we'll get Seth for a report from the sports desk, which has just gone live and on location this week on top of the Earnhardt Towers up there. Now, here's the question, Seth. Last year for the Cookout Southern 500, Mike Bagley at the top of turn 3 on those Earnhardt Towers, he received a hand-delivered Cookout milkshake from Josh Harris, the Darlington Raceway president. Has Josh made his way, and I mean Josh Harris, of course, because we have a load of Joshes around here these days. Has Josh Harris gotten to you up there, Seth, and instead of a Cookout milkshake, given you, I don't know, a Goodyear tire?
No, I guess I'm not high enough up the totem pole to be getting those.
If Josh is listening, and I do mean Harris, I would like
I can
a cookout
change my
milkshake
name if
up
you
here.
want.
Oh, God.
I would like a cookout milkshake hand delivered to the tower up here, please, and thank you. That would be great. Oreo mint, peanut butter fudge, whatever you like. All right, anyway. Here we come towards the restart, and it's William Byron and Kyle Busch on the front row. And Byron, just as he did for the initial start and on the only restart of the day, chooses to go for the outside to restart on. So it's Byron and Busch coming towards the restart zone. Looking forward for the green flag to wave. Joey Aycock puts it in the air, and Byron once again takes off and nails the restart perfectly.
Byron didn't need the shake and bake from last restart with Ryan Preece. He got a good jump that time to get in front. 2 and 3 wide again, action going back through the field as Kyle Busch puts Preece under pressure for second.
So side by side.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Seth, there's a car way up at the back of the shot in the wall in turn 2. It's JJ Yaley who's hit the fence. We stay green for the moment, but he's got a right front tyre flat heading to you.
Leaders coming out of turn number 4 will follow J.J. Yaley. Yeah, it was a flat right front tire.
Wah whammo.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll follow the leaders back to 2.
Byron getting ahead again on these restarts as he's done time after time. Priest settled into second. Then it's Busch, Briscoe, and Cindric, the rest of the top 5.
Wallace almost on the apron actually. No, almost about it. Trying to get by Chris Buescher to make the spot.
Now that apron will be utilized plenty today. Wallace cannot make the pass so far on Buescher.
Chase Briscoe has, though, made the pass on Kyle Busch coming down the front straight to go to 3rd place. So change there. The 2 guys that battled it out, as you mentioned, for the Southern 500 last year. And Busch is slow here. May have a problem. Austin Cindric almost ran him over coming out of turn 2.
Chris Buescher's going to make it 3 wide, and he's going to pass them both going into turn number 3. So Chris Buescher takes advantage of whatever that was from Kyle Busch. Must have been short term because he's back going full song.
Yeah, Busch trying to get back up to pace and has. He stayed ahead of Cindric, tries to draw back in on Buescher.
Busch settles in at the moment in 5th ahead of Cindric. Briscoe, though, as Seth mentioned in the open, could have a good day today, and he's proving so far that he's got a fast number 19. He's 3rd, but Buescher is pressuring him.
Indeed he is. He goes up about a half a groove higher on Briscoe, who runs 3rd in that black in that camouflage orange 19 Toyota. Now let's see what happened with Kyle Busch, Matt.
Yeah, let's find out. This is the second part of this, where he came out of 2 and had a big wiggle, and Austin Cindric almost ran him over. Get a shot from the onboard of Kyle, steering right in the left-hand corner, never good. And Chris Buescher took advantage with the Walmart move, the 2-for-1, to take both of them to go to 4th.
Very good. So Cindric tries to pull in on Busch, riding the rim up out of turn number 4. That is at 5th and 6th on the racetrack as William Byron tries to jet away for the second time today, Matt.
I suppose that would be the Kroger move, especially if it was Chris Buescher in the 17 rather than Walmart, but you get the idea. So he's up to 4. Busch, Cindric, Wallace, Ty Gibbs, Ape, Reddick, and Hamlin. So a good bunch of Toyotas there at the back end of the top 10. They're all still chasing that 24.
Indeed. And Byron's lead 7/10 of a second on Ryan Preece. And Austin Cindric, did he get a stripe there? I think all 4, Matthew?
Might have. We've already gotten about a half dozen cars that's hit the wall so far.
Only tracking these United States where hitting the wall isn't a bad thing.
Cindric, of course, in a Dale Earnhardt throwback. That's the old number 2 with the blue on the side, then a yellow stripe, followed by a big blue center line over that number 2, white in color with the numerals, that Earnhardt drove in his rookie season of 1979. He won Rookie of the Year in 79, then won the national championship the very next year in 1980. Matt William Byron is trying to pull away, but he's got company this time.
He has. Ryan Preece has kept him honest this time on this run. Keeping honest, here is Buescher to the back of Briscoe. Battle on here for 3rd place, 19 from 17.
A good battle here as Buescher now will drive it on the inside, trying to make the pass on Briscoe for 3rd. Briscoe, though, going to keep the position as they exit turn 4.
Briscoe holding on to 3rd, but Chris Buescher, who was so close to winning this race last year, peels to his inside. And as they go to turn 1, Matt, Briscoe's just going to give him the spot.
Yeah, so we've talked about Chris Buescher looking for redemption today after what happened in this race last spring. He's got himself up to 4th place over the winner of the summer race here last year in Chase Briscoe.
Indeed. So Busher started 14th, but has already worked his way up to P3, and Briscoe might be losing 4th.
Yeah, Kyle Busch is pouring on the pressure now on Briscoe. I'm sure Kyle would like to actually make a pass on Chase Briscoe here at Darlington after he trailed him for so many laps towards the end of the Southern 500 last year.
And don't forget 2020 Xfinity, too.
Yeah, that great finish between those two in 2020. So let's reset the order for you as we're just shy of the midway point of stage 1. William Byron leads. Ryan Preece is 2nd. Chris Buescher 3rd. 4th is Chase Briscoe. Then that battle for 4th between Briscoe and Busch. Austin Cindric is 6th. Darrell Wallace Jr. is 7th. Ty Gibbs is 8th. 9th is Tyler Reddick, and 10th is Denny Hamlin. Sorry, Matt, cut over the top of you there.
I was going to say, wasn't that an Xfinity race that was run on a Thursday or something? In those
Something stupid.
We were just coming back from the vid, so
the elongated virtual safety car of 2020.
Indeed.
Yeah, it was definitely a midweek race. I couldn't tell you what day of the week it was. But it was
Thursday sounds right.
Yeah, because if memory serves, we were here for just about that whole week because we ran 2 cup races here, right?
Yeah, a Sunday and like a Wednesday or a Tuesday.
Something like that, yeah. They put 2 weekends together in one, didn't they? So it was just a cup race for the first weekend, and then Xfinity and perhaps trucks. I can't remember the week, the sort of second part of the week from memory. But that was special day coming back to actual racing on that first cup race here after the COVID break. Strange, but special but strange, all in equal measure.
We had, I tell you what, man, in a lot of the circumstances, I still think we had some of our best times and our best broadcast in that 2020 season.
Yeah, that was a full house here at Darlington on that first race back. It was the 3 of us and DKJ joined us. Kevin Harvick won the race. It was called the Real Heroes 400. And then if memory serves, we then took Monday off, ran a cup race here on Tuesday, I think it was, and I'm fairly certain that was a 500-kilometer race that got rain shortened. Denny Hamlin won. That was the famous Chase Elliott getting crashed on the front stretch by Kyle Busch, and then gave him fingers.
Totally was number 1.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Wednesday, we was going to run an Xfinity race, but then it was rain, but then it got rained out, which led to the Xfinity race being on Thursday.
And then we kind of did a very similar schedule not too long after that with Charlotte, which was still on Memorial Day weekend.
I've done my research.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Would you like the results?
But yes, we're only going off the top of mind here, and top of my mind isn't very sharp.
Well, you were close, Mr. Oracle. The Toyota 500K was Wednesday, May 20th. And the Alsco 500K was Thursday, the May 28th at Charlotte. It was postponed to.
My goodness. And yeah, the Charlotte, when they went to Charlotte, they ran 2 cup races. One was the 600, one was that Alsco 500K. They ran an Xfinity race, I'm fairly sure. They definitely ran a truck race because we did that race. And I think that truck race at Charlotte that we did, Seth, was the first day where we were like, what about this Zane Smith kid? Boy, does he look good.
Yeah, it was you, me, and DKJ, and we had some fun there, and that was, of course, the Bounty with the Cup guys, too.
Yes, it was. Oh, my gosh. Wow. 5 years ago. Heavens to Betsy. As here's William Byron. Back to the race we're actually here to cover. Crossing the line. We're halfway home here in stage 1, and he is starting to leg it out a bit on Preece. Now up to a 2nd and a 3rd on Preece. RFK car is running 2nd and 3rd with Preece and Buescher. Of course, William Byron's throwback today. We go back in time again.
Oh, again.
There we go. There we go.
God bless America.
Unbelievable.
I've also done some research on Xfinity.
Okay, so William Byron's throwback today. is the scheme that Jeff Gordon ran in what was supposed to be his final Cup Series start, Homestead 2015. What would have been a really nice addition to this, and maybe NASCAR didn't want them to do this, would be to put that Sprint yellow stripe over the top of the nameplate and the splitter. Maybe NASCAR didn't want them to do that because it's a regular season race, but that would have been nice because, of course, the original car had that because Gordon was in the championship for that race. And again, what was supposed to be his final start, but it wasn't because, of course, he started races the next year for an injured Dale Earnhardt Jr. More Jeff Gordon stuff coming later in the show, I'm sure. Okay, Josh, what do you have?
Well, what first had my attention was the Homestead Miami weekend, where they had a Saturday and a Sunday Xfinity race. That's a little bit cursed. But what is even more cursed is a Tuesday Darlington race.
It was Tuesday, not Thursday. Okay.
Yeah. But they had the Hooters 250 and the Contender Boats 250 on Saturday and Sunday of Miami, but different stages. One was 45, 90, 200. The other was 40, 80, 167.
Yes, that's smart. You wouldn't have a Hooters 250 these days.
No, you would have a Hooters 2.5, wouldn't you?
Well, Hooters is bankrupt.
I'm going to mute my mic before it gets out of hand.
Sure. Denny Hamlin, I think, just got the wall in the middle of 3 and 4, Seth.
Yeah, I believe you're right about that. He keeps on trucking.
Which is 11 stripes for the... which the 11th stripe was caused by car 11. That makes sense.
Yeah, Fox keeping the counter up for us on Darlington Stripes, so apparently we're at 11 now. Goodness only knows how they're counting that. I know they don't have that many spotters around the grounds, but we'll trust them for their word. As Hamlin, the winner from a week ago, is in the 12th position, riding just behind, speaking of Zane Smith, Matt, there he is in 11th position.
Yeah, having a decent start to his day. Ryan Blaney has come forward while we were doing our small history lesson. More of that to come at the end of stage 1, of course. But Blaney has pulled himself up to 8th place over the last couple of laps, which has knocked Denny Hamlin out of the top 10.
Matthew.
Yeah.
I think I know how they're counting the stripes.
Oh, okay.
So much for cutting your mic off, but anyway.
Yeah. They have got the onboard cameras which are locked on Max, which I can't get in the UK, and I'm absolutely fuming. Anyway, back to you guys.
Oh, yes, that's true. They do have the onboard cameras on Max, yes, and I'm not paying all that money for that. Sorry. Yeah, not doing all that.
Hamlin says this run, quote, effing suck here.
Hamlin becoming like the old Kyle Busch was when he complained about his car and he ended up winning. So keep an eye out for Denny today as Brad Keselowski, 13th, is trying to chase him down. We talk about RFK in the pre-race show, Matt. Should they be pressing the panic button? Right now they're 2nd, 3rd, and 13th.
Yeah. The worm may have already turned for RFK, perhaps. Still a long, long way to go here this afternoon. Here's Christopher Bell on screen after his tremendous starts to the season. He's faded a little bit, Seth, over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, indeed. Sorry. Now we're looking at onboard. This isn't Max.
Shane Gisbergen.
Thank you.
Bell has backslid quite a bit here. He's in 28th position, Matt. He's lost 11 positions since the restart.
Ouch, yeah. So, yeah, not going particularly well for him. I mentioned earlier that all those Toyotas that were up and around the top 10, but Bell perhaps the outlier, running a little bit further down the field.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen trying to reel Christopher Bell in. This is the World Championship at 28th place, in case you were wondering, in turns 3 and 4.
So Christopher Bell's throwback this weekend is inspired by a sprint car scheme of Rick Ferkel, which was his mentor growing up. So that is the throwback scheme that Christopher Bell gives us this weekend.
Ferkel.
Running in the 28th position right now in a mustard-colored number 20 with red numerals and black impact as Shane
It's
Van
Kendrick Lamar.
Gisbergen. Yes, that's right. As Shane Van Gisbergen gets to his inside here, is he going to lose another position, Matt?
He does. SVG down to the inside. He's running the sprint yellow stripe, but it's just across the headlight trim on the 88, as always with the Red Bull part of the livery. So position gain there. And Reddick and Ty Gibbs in action at the back end of the top 10. They're just coming out of turn 4.
Back onto the main straightaway. Gibbs around the outside of Zane Smith. Nose in front for the Monster Energy Toyota.
Just behind them, Denny Hamlin continuing to complain about his car with Brad Keselowski coming forward. Even further forward, change here of 4th place. Wallace ahead of Briscoe.
And Briscoe's going to lose 5th to Blaney. I tell you what, guys, that Ryan Blaney gets excellent drive into that number 3 corner.
He went all the way down to the apron to get by Briscoe, tried to pull up alongside Wallace. Instead, he'll fall back in the tire tracks of Wallace down the main straightaway. But, Matt, we are on a long run, so here comes the 12.
But, yeah, surprise, isn't it? Anytime we get any run over about 25 laps, the 12th car will march forward. He's done it all season long, but just doesn't have the results to show for his work so far. Up in the 5th early days, though, for that team.
Further back, I say Denny Hamlin goes inside of Ty Gibbs, and we got a replay of something that happened. Baker Mayfield gave Carl Edwards a little love tap up the hill he went.
Now, this has been a real cluster of traffic the last handful of laps, and Keselowski, I guess, felt that Hamlin was holding him up. The bump and run the Darlington move, I suppose, as Keselowski finesses Hamlin out of the way. See, that's a nice bump and run right there. You didn't junk him. You didn't even put him in the wall. It was a finesse move. So Keselowski.
From a couple of years ago.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. So Keselowski on the move still, Matt, up to 11th, trying to join his other 2 teammates in the top 10.
Yeah, so Keselowski, the de facto leader of that team, I suppose, but he's the 3rd car at the moment. Talking of leaders, William Byron almost 5 seconds clear now of Ryan Preece.
Yeah, he's taking off the way that Ryan Blaney did in the first stage in South Florida a couple of weeks back at Homestead. So Byron, as we mentioned, winner of this race in 2023, off to a great start here this afternoon with Ryan Preece in line 2nd, Chris Buescher 3rd. Ryan Blaney did complete the pass on Darrell Wallace Jr., so Blaney is now up into the 4th position. Looking at Josh Berry here, coming out of turn 2 and towards you, Seth, going after Austin Dillon, or at least we were.
Yeah, then we get a nice aerial view of this racetrack. Oh Lord, Zane Smith in the top 10. Good run for him today.
Yeah, actually, Ty Gibbs. Yeah, that's Gibbs. Just went around him coming out of turn 4, so that's a change of position there. Let's see. This is another cluster of traffic, Matt. About 7 cars.
Yeah, Austin Cindric in the middle of this as well. So all sorts going on here. Fox are in break, which is why we're getting the shot from the Goodyear blimp on Goodyear 400 day. And they've got a throwback livery on the blimp as well, haven't they, this weekend?
They do.
I saw that on Twitter during the week, or X, whatever it's called this week, and perhaps next week. So yeah, we're all going throwback crazy, up in the sky and on the racetrack.
Won't find me up in the sky. Tell you that right now.
Terra and firmer for Mr. Owens.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Right foot's on Terra, left foot's on firmer.
Yes, indeed. There's a great battle going on here as they head to turn 3. That's Ross Chastain working his way to the inside of Todd Gilliland, just in behind Ty Gibbs, and Chastain to the inside of Gilliland. This is happening at the 15th position, Matt.
Chastain still on the inside. Got a couple of cars lined up behind them as well. So Chastain can't complete this move. He might get jumped from the guys behind it. He does power through, though, coming out of turn number 2.
So, yes, Chastain gets the position. I am not dead. I am back. And another cluster of traffic in 3 and 4.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe under attack, and it's Brad Keselowski going after him. So Keselowski on the move still, Matt.
Yeah, Briscoe's on the move, but in the wrong direction. He's plummeted down. Now that'll be 10th place for Chase Briscoe after being 3rd not so long ago. And he's about to lose another position to Austin Cindric. So the handling on the 19 going away. Here comes Denny Hamlin to swoop through as well as Briscoe got checked up coming out of 2.
Indeed.
Yeah, that was
but Briscoe almost against the wall trying to chase down his teammate Hamlin.
really tight coming out of turn 2 with Briscoe just dropping like a rock. Meanwhile, William Byron is just setting a torrid pace here as he exits turn 4. Riley Herbst dead ahead to try to put a lap down, but his lead on Ryan Preece is pretty mammoth, 5 seconds, and then Preece has put another second between himself and Chris Buescher, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is turning into a great start to the day for the 24 team and a pretty solid start. RFK, go Seth.
Daryl Kinsey Jr. has an interesting tweet about that Keselowski and Hamlin bumper run. He says, I think Brad had a PTSD moment when he caught Hamlin and thought it was Carl Edwards.
Wow. Okay. Very well done. Yes, those two had their comings together, that's for sure. Ryan Blaney, as we mentioned.
The dump off 4, the gateway move.
That's right. Mention Ryan Blaney moving forward as this run gets longer and longer. He's up to 4th. Problem is, he's 11 seconds behind the leader Byron, and he's nowhere even close to Chris Buescher, the 3rd place runner. He's 5 seconds behind Buescher. So Blaney likely going to sit in 4th for the rest of this stage. Darrell Wallace Jr. and Tyler Reddick, tandem from 23-11, are 5th and 6th. So as we are about 20 laps from the end of the stage, Matt, it is taking shape like your normal Darlington race. The term we like to use around here a lot is a rubber band race. You pull the rubber band all the way out. The field stretches out, it gets strung out, but then it snaps back together. That's what normally happens here at Darlington.
Yeah, talking of snapping, Tyler Reddick almost snapped the wall coming out of turn 4 on the last time round. So he sits in 6th. This is the battle a little bit further back from that, 7th, 8th, 9th. Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, and the on-rushing, to use a quarterback term, Brad Keselowski.
And something else that you get a lot at Darlington too, Seth, is when you get into a long run like this, some cars just fall off a cliff. So just because William Byron has a 4.5-second lead doesn't mean he's going to keep it until the end of the stage. Some guys know how to save tires better than others, and I think one of the guys that does know how to save tires better than anyone, Seth, is Keselowski, and that's why he's moving up.
Yeah, and to your point about dropping off a cliff, Chase Briscoe has fallen back to 15th.
Yeah, I think he's gone even further back now. In fact, in that 19 car, we saw him lose, 3 or 4 spots you called him losing, Matt, all in one corner. And yeah, here he is right in front of us. He's actually dropped now to 19th, Matt.
Yeah, this is not the run that it looked like it was going to be for Chase Briscoe in the early laps after the restart. He's going to be under attack from Michael McDowell here coming down the back straight away. And the 71 should just breeze past the 19, which is ill of running at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's about to lose another spot in 3 and 4. Michael McDowell putting the pressure on.
McDowell alongside, can't complete the pass. This was a moment ago, Matt, that you called. He got trucked by 3 different guys.
Yeah, no, Gregson sneaking through. Josh Berry came from nowhere. Here comes Austin Dillon into turn 3, so he lost 4 places there in the space of about 200 meters.
I think Duke had Briscoe in a parlay.
Austin Cindric really sliding his car up out of turn 4. That allows Kyle Busch to get to his inside. So this is a battle at the 9th position going to 1.
Side by side they go. Cindric will sweep round the outside. Another 5-car fight going on a bit further back as they head toward.
Yeah, see, this is what I was worried about, Matt. Chase Briscoe is so slow. This is a moving chicane now.
Yeah, Chase Elliott in there, the 10 as well. Alex Bowman's just got by, so he's way off the pace. Chase Briscoe just trying to limp it here to the end of the stage. We've still got 15 laps to go.
I don't know how he's going to make it. I mean, that car is just... Matthew, I hate to bring up a bad memory because it's bad for you and it's bad for me because I was in attendance. This car's falling off walk reminds me of Jeff Gordon in the 2004 World 600.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to survive on the lead lap by the end of the stage because William Byron will be coming quickly to him here over the next few laps. And when you get a car that's this far off the pace at this racetrack, Matt, this is such a narrow racetrack. I mean, they say it's 90 feet wide. Well, yeah, from inside wall to outside wall. They don't use all of that, though. It's such a narrow track. When you got a car that far off the pace, it's a wreck just waiting to happen.
Yeah, indeed. And Byron has got some traffic. Someone else that was in the top 10 not so long ago and now right in front of the leader was Ty Gibbs. So he's about to go a lap down. They're passing Carson. He struggles. That's going to get gnarly as they go into turn number 1. Byron forcing it to fit underneath Gibbs and does so. And he's about to get past another JGR car and put Christopher Bell a lap down as well.
Yeah, so some big names struggling here. As William Byron is entering lap 12, he's about to put a lap on Christopher Bell, as you mentioned. I mean, this is...
Well, and I'll tell you, too, what's
not
happening...
Not a good start for the Gibbs gang today.
And I'll tell you what's also happening is Byron is trying to clear this traffic. That lead that I was just talking about, that's 5 seconds, is shrinking. It's now down to 3 seconds as Joey Logano goes after Kyle Busch, Seth.
Yeah. And Busch, though, powers on the outside. So Busch keeps the spot. Good work by Kyle Busch.
Chase Briscoe continuing to fall back. Shane Van Gisbergen just got around him. Jimmy Spencer throwback, driven by Cole Custer, got around him. Briscoe is just on an island all to his own at 28th, Matt. He's just become the last car on the lead lap.
He was third not long ago, Chase Briscoe, and now he's, as you said, the last car on the lead lap with 11 laps to go, about to be in this first stage. So absolutely falling through the field is Mr. Briscoe.
So I believe, if I have this right, our two expert analysts today picked Kyle Larson and Chase Briscoe to win.
Yeah, if you listen to the experts, none of them are us.
That's exactly right. Thank you. Oh, boy. Yeah, Larson out of the race with, what, a lap 4 crash.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back, Jerry Baker style here, in the sense that I have the last 2 days I have had a door open and I have slammed it out of the park, which I have not done recently. Of course, last night I was with the Cinderella thing, a unintentional blooper, and so I took advantage of that. Now I took advantage of that using the Matt White quote. Is Briscoe about to go a lap down here? Oh boy.
Yeah, but Matt, William Byron.
Well, yeah, it's been repassed by Christopher Bell, and Byron is stuck behind them. Here comes Carson Hocevar, who's got fresher tyres, trying to get in the mix.
Indeed. This is, well, boy, Byron's in a real pickle here. Boys with Hocevar.
Yeah, these lap cars are closing in on Byron. Hocevar to his inside, Herbst to his back bumper, Briscoe in front of him. What is going on, Matt?
Yeah, Ty Gibbs behind. Oh, it is Herbst. You're right. Sorry, I thought it was Ty Gibbs. Riley Herbst in the other monster car. So Byron now stuck on the outside as Hocevar comes past him in 2. And here comes Ricky Stenhouse to buy into this. He sees a mess and he wants to be in the middle of it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be left out, as Byron now absolutely is in a world of trouble right now.
Tries to slide up out of turn 4 in front of Hocevar. Gets turned by Herbst. Hocevar gets turned by Riley Herbst. The caution comes out, but Hocevar picks it up and gets back going. We could have stayed green through all of that. I'm sure Ryan Preece would have liked to have stayed green from all of that because he was running these guys down like crazy. Well, that was absolutely a wreck waiting to happen, Matt. And well, we didn't get a wreck, but we got drama.
Yeah. Second flat tyre, on perhaps 2 front tyres flat now on the number 77 Ziegler car for Carson Hocevar. He's dragging it round the inside of turn number 2, but as you said, that was brewing for a lap or 2 beforehand, and coming out of 4, they ran out of the road.
I was scared to death for William Byron's sake that was going to be him. And clearly the tires had fallen off a cliff on the 24, Matt, because he was not only could he not pass these slower cars, these lapped cars, he was getting passed by them.
They were passing him back.
Just ahead of them, and yeah, Carson perhaps unsighted or didn't see Herbst on the outside or back call or whatever. Too much going on in that situation to take all the information in, perhaps, for young Carson. Riley up against the fence in the 35. He looks like he's pretty much survived any major damage. So we're going to get a shootout here from the points at the end of stage 1.
And everyone's going to pit.
You know who absolutely was looking in his mirror there and going, thank goodness, Chase Briscoe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, should have everyone on pit road, at least when it opens. And let's see what happens here. Pit road not open yet.
Yeah.
Seth, real quick, in the one lap of caution, what do you got from us from elsewhere in sport?
I'm glad you asked. Actually, I'm not really that glad you asked because you caught me off guard. But, you know, it is what it is. Halftime in Tampa at the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. UConn leads South Carolina 36-26. Huskies' 9-year drought, which for their insufferable lot probably feels like 75 years. We could have won another 75 more, but I digress. NBA action, 2 games early on. One final today, Chicago over hapless Charlotte, 131-117. LA, the Lakers, that is, leads Oklahoma City 49-32 in the second, and it's Toronto up on Brooklyn 28-23 at the end of the first. NHL, Dallas with a 1-0 lead in the second on Minnesota. Washington lost 4-1 to New York, maybe to the Islanders. Maybe you heard about it, though. The one Washington goal just so happened to be number 895 for Alex Ovechkin. He becomes the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer, passing Wayne Gretzky. Major League Baseball on this Sunday, busy action. Phillies lead the Dodgers 8-7 at the top of the 8th. Yankees and Pirates tied at 4 in the top of the 9th. Nationals lead the D-backs 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th. Also in the bottom of the 8th, St. Louis 4, Boston 2. The White Sox lead Detroit 3-1 in the bottom of the 9th. New York, the Mets lead Toronto 2-1 in the 9th. Top of the 8th, Kansas City up 4-1 on Baltimore. Milwaukee is beating Cincinnati 7-1 at the top of the 7th. Minnesota leads Houston 7-4 in the top of the 6th. The Cubs lead San Diego 7-6, bottom 5th. Tampa Bay and Texas tied at 1, top of the 6th. Rockies lead the A's 6-3 in the 4th. Mariners 1-0 on Giants in the 1st. Guardians and Angels top of the 1st just underway. Matthew, pit road.
All right, leaders are on with 5 laps to go in the stage. William Byron creeping all the way down to his number 1 pit stall at 45 miles an hour. Stops right on the marks. Right sides are off and on. They swing to the left side. Second can of Sunoco Racing Fuel going in. Byron going to get a clean exit out of his box and win the race off of pit road from Priest, Wallace, Busher, and Reddick. Blaney losing a couple of spots on pit road there. What do we think, guys? Matt, I can't imagine there's going to be any more than 3 laps here on the restart, maybe just 2.
Yeah, it might end up being 2 here once they get the field packed up and in the correct order and whatnot. So, as I say, it's going to be a
real quick
old-fashioned shootout for the stage points. Go, Seth.
Yeah, real quick, I just wanted to finish up the Wide World of Sports update. Right now, the Valero Texas Omen hoping Brian Harmon with a 2-shot lead over American Andrew Novak. So, of course, there's a certain event coming up in Augusta next week. Will be fixated on.
You can tell that spring is upon us when it is Final Four weekend. We had the Grand National here in the UK yesterday. The Masters is next weekend. Then it'll be the boat race, which is another big UK-based thing coming up.
The Grand National, yeah, where Sam Queck's hat blew off yesterday from the ITV coverage. Goalless, the Manchester Derby earlier today between United and City. Brentford and Chelsea also goalless. Liverpool were beaten 3-2 at Fulham, and Southampton's relegation was confirmed with a 3-1 defeat.
That's a very early relegation. That's got to be one of the earliest relegations.
Well, they suck. So that's what happens when you suck. You get relegated.
What's the record on earliest relegations? We'll get the crack research team on that. Oh, do you? Wow.
I do have it. The previous record was the previous record was 32 games played. Well, Southampton did it in 31.
Oh well, if you're gonna bow out, do it spectacularly.
Yeah.
La Liga, Barcelona, but that was yesterday. Barcelona played and they drew. They couldn't take advantage of the stupid Real Madrid home loss. Real Sociedad beat Las Palmas 3-1. Atletico beat Sevilla 2-1. Bundesliga, Union Berlin over Wolfsburg. St. Pauli and Mönchengladbach drew. Italy, Roma Juventus level at 1 in the 71st minute. I think that covers, well, everything.
So that's United unbeaten on the year against City.
Oh, boy, yeah. How the mighty have fallen. That's victories any which way you can. Hey, yeah, and don't forget, Matthew, you come up in about 45 minutes. There's a certain acrobatics and tumbling event that'll be happening.
Oh, yes. I had it on my calendar. Ready to go.
Yeah.
And later tonight on USRN2, we do have hockey on USRN2 tonight. The Canadiens in Nashville to take on the Predators. Montreal is currently holding the final playoff spot.
Yeah.
Tenuous lead on the Rangers.
Montreal, Nashville, start of the year, you say, yeah, we're going to have that game. One of those teams is going to be long gone, and the other is going to be in a playoff race. Exactly, you'd have been right to think that, but man, you'd have gotten the teams wrong. But
that's right.
Son of a gun, we'll have big fun.
Matthew.
Yes.
Can I quickly mention the R word that we all hate?
Uh-oh.
We have narrowly missed a weather caution. It is currently raining in Florence, but the radar is clear everywhere else.
Josh sent me. Okay, was it this week? It was maybe last weekend. Josh sends me a screenshot of a message on Twitter that he got a special weather statement which included Walnut Cove.
Excellent.
Yes.
So, thank you for that, Josh.
That did happen.
Oh my God. Hold up.
We've got more eyes on Walnut Cove than ever before. As the field comes off of turn 4, William Byron and Ryan Preece on the front row. 2-lap dash to the end of the stage. Green flag remains. Byron takes off.
Byron gets across the nose of Ryan Preece. Wallace was on the outside. He will not get around Preece, or for the moment they'll be side by side as they hunt through number 2, and also side by side behind them, Busher and Reddick, but Byron away in the lead.
Yeah, Byron scooting away as he's done all afternoon. Meanwhile, Chris Busher thinking about making it 3 wide for second back there.
Yeah, Busher trying to get alongside Preece and Wallace, can't do it. Across the line, last lap of the stage. Byron leads by 3 car lengths. It's a real battle behind.
4 cars under a blanket for second. Wallace has got his nose slightly ahead on the outside of Preece. They will hang tough on the inside. They do not want to give it up, but if they get side by side to battling, here comes Chris Busher.
Busher and Wallace going to be a great battle for second to end the stage. Busher making it 3 wide for second. Byron's going to win the stage. Who's going to be second?
Here's Byron to the green and white checkered flag. He'll win his second stage of the year. Behind him at the line, Wallace edges out Preece for second. Busher fell back in line to finish 4th in the stage. Then Reddick was 5th. Wow. What a rally to the end of the stage there, but all behind William Byron, who led all 90 laps of that first stage. His second stage win of the year, the 22nd of his career. From the pole, William Byron with a dominant opening start to the Goodyear 400. So on USRN and JBM, no breaks today. We are wide open.
Then I got to get something.
We're wide open and green at Darlington. So we'll let Seth and Matt catch their breath here before we turn it over to Matt for the normal festivities at the end of stage 1. But before we do that, Matt, your thoughts on stage 1?
Well, 24 car looking very, very strong on a short run and a very long run. Got quite lucky that he wasn't swept up in that accident, mind you, coming to the end of the stage there. But we've got some players in the game today. There's a few people that we perhaps wouldn't have thought. Wallace's strong run continues second there in the stage. So, yeah, Keselowski moving forward. That's good to see. All of the good bunch of trailers up there. Plenty of Fords in the top 10. What have we got? 6 of them in the top 10 there at the end of the first stage. But not much showing out of the other Hendrick cars, though. Byron leading, and Kyle Larson out of the race, but we haven't really seen Alex Bowman or Chase Elliott.
No, we have not. You're right about that.
AJ Allmendinger again getting a stage point in that stage in 10th place. He's had a great start to the season.
He's kind of been sneaky this year, hasn't he?
Yeah. Another track that he goes well at, this one.
I mean, everybody in the NASCAR world talks about AJ every week on the build-up and the weekend of a road course race, and then we don't talk about him at all anywhere else. But he's been sneaky good this year to this point. So a stage point for AJ Allmendinger, who had I don't know, did you have viral moments in 2008? That was kind of the opening salvo of social media. But he had a kind of a viral moment here in 2008. So qualifying for that 08 race here, as we mentioned earlier, it was the year of the repave here at Darlington. And qualifying was an absolute show because everyone was slipping and sliding over the repaved racetrack. And my goodness, he hung it out off turn 2. I don't know how he didn't absolutely wad it up. Great save by AJ. He was driving the Best Buy number 44 Dodge for the Petty team.
Very good.
The things that I pick out of the mind.
Salvos of NASCAR back in those days, I guess, after coming out of Champ Car.
Yes, right, because his rookie year was in 07 with the Red Bull team.
Speaking of Red Bull, go to bad segues. Matt, you got the On This Day calendar. There's one event that you already know is on this day if you follow me on Instagram as part of my new On This Day series I'm doing there. So
I did see one on Twitter earlier today that I had a good feeling that Matt would bring up. So, Matt, without further ado, April 6th.
Yeah, on this day then, as we always do at the end of stage 1 on Cup Series Day. April 6th, as you mentioned, we'll start with the birthday list. Started on pole for the Japanese Grand Prix, ended up 3rd, Oscar Piastri. His birthday today or yesterday, where he probably is now. A couple of Formula 2 and GP2 race winners on the birthday list today. Stefano Coletti, formerly of the IndyCar paddock briefly as well, and Tom Dillman. I mentioned earlier that it was Paige Keselowski's birthday today, wife of Brad. I know that because she's on this list, because she took part in the Better Half Dash, so she makes the list. So happy birthday to Paige. A couple of from times in very well in times in memorial that will please Mr. Owens. Herb Thomas is on the list. It would have been his birthday today. And also Jules Gu, the 1913 Indianapolis 500 winner, would have been his birthday today. Races on this day last year. We were at Martinsville for NASCAR Xfinity Series. The Dude Wipes 250 won by Eric Almirola. In the another Xfinity Martinsville cluster. 2019, Scott McLaughlin won the first race of the weekend at Simmons Plains for the Supercars Championship. Christopher Bell winning at Bristol in the Alsco 300 in the Xfinity Series. Just before that, earlier in the afternoon, Sam Mayer won an ARCA East race, the Zombie Auto 150. 2014.
This is Matt reading the race names. This is my favorite part of it.
2014, Lewis Hamilton won the Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix, which was, according to my Facebook memories, a pretty good race because I was raving about it on Facebook on this day. At Winton, Mark Winterbottom won the Sunday race of the Supercars Championship weekend there. 2013, Truck Series at Martinsville, the Kroger 250 of that year, Johnny Sauter a winner. The Porsche 250 was run at Barber Motorsports Park for the Grand Am Series. Jordan Taylor and Max the Axe Angelelli getting the victory for Wayne Taylor Racing. Fabian Coulthard also winning at Simmons Plains on that day in 2013 Supercars. 2008, again in Bahrain, Felipe Massa getting the victory for Ferrari in Formula 1. And Graham Rahal won a very wet St. Petersburg Grand Prix on this day in 2008. His debut victory from memory in IndyCar. Also a very wet race in Brazil in 2003. Kimi Raikkonen took the checkered flag to win the race, and 10 days later it was taken away from him and given to Giancarlo Fisichella, who scored his and Jordan's final Formula 1 Grand Prix victory on that very same day. The Aaron's 499 at Talladega was won by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jeff Burton, a Cup winner at Texas in '97. The Interstate Batteries 500. Hi to my family at home. Scott Pruitt won at in the Gold Coast, the Sunbelt Indy Carnival for kart down in the Gold Coast. Dale Jarrett won a Busch Series race here at Darlington on this day in 1991, the Pontiac Pacesetters 200. Rusty Wallace at Bristol on this day in 1986, the Valleydale 500. And the Dana 200 for the Special Olympics, also on that day at Phoenix, the kart championship won by Kevin Cogan. And that pretty much concludes, as we get ready to go back to green, the on the same racing.
Did you get Jeff Burton? Did you get the Jeff Burton one, which I posted on Instagram today?
Interstate Batteries 500 of 97, Jeff Burton.
Talking about a cluster of a race. Had a 13-car wreck caused by DW on the first lap.
Yeah, that was the first Cup race at Darlington. That's the one that I
Texas.
Texas, yes. And Matt, the one that I had seen earlier today was that 03 Brazilian Grand Prix. We want to talk about cluster of races.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, good God. What a mess.
Alonso almost decapitating himself on Mark Webber's Eric Wheel at the top of the hill in awful conditions, which ended the race.
Dreadful conditions.
Went off.
And Speed Channel.
Appalling conditions. Oh, God.
Yeah. Speed Channel had no idea what was going on. They were totally out of the loop. That was a mess.
I think I seem to remember on ITV, they sent James Allen down to the inside of turn 2 to see why everyone was going off, and there was the river running across the track, which caught out.
Couldn't you just left him there?
Oh, dear. And, of course, that 97 Texas race, we saw more of Jeff's wife at the end than we actually did the cars on the track.
That was the OG.
Yes, indeed it was.
No, the OG Kim Cam was that 1990 Busch race he won at Martinsville.
Oh, gosh.
Her jumping up and down, and bless his heart, Betty Parsons, his big tail trying to chase her.
And then, of course, you mentioned Kevin Cogan through there, Matt. Front row starter for the 1982 Indianapolis 500. The 2025 Indianapolis 500 is 49 days away. We're inside of 50 on the countdown.
Speaking of decapitated, almost decapitated himself at the pit wall in 1989 in that race.
Kidding. And then was leading on the last restart with just a handful of laps to go. In 86, Sam Posey tried to talk to him over the radio. He didn't want to be talked to by Sam Posey before the restart, and he claimed that's what broke his concentration that allowed Bobby Rahal to pass him.
Very excited that we're inside 50 days to go.
Oh, God.
Got him.
Long Beach next weekend, of course.
Yeah,
Sunday.
Well, indeed.
Got him. But now I say that, but sometimes just for the heck of it, just to make fun of how stupid it is, I like to go James Allen. Like, seriously, I had to do, man, I do public address for they did some kind of, so there was some kind of stupid in-game entertainment race they did at halftime. And I was like, you know what? I wasn't supposed to do PA. You know what? It's like, there's a new boss here. I can do some things. I just let it rip. So I didn't do the full Monty on it, because Lord knows I never want to do that. But I said, all right, contestants are about ready. The woman gave you this, the woman who told me that was waiting to give me the signal to announce. I said, all right, go.
Oh, dear. Just came by the shoes.
Only I can bring James Allen, Vern Lundquist, and Bill Weber to my public address announcing.
And when you lose that job, we'll know why.
and Jerry Punch too.
Jerry Punch too. Oh, Lord. Richard and Kyle Petty have joined the Fox booth, so that's a full booth over there next door with 5 of them in there now. Clint Boyer has been left without a seat. Yeah, Clint Boyer and Mike Joy has been left without a seat as Richard and Kyle sit next to Kevin. We just got one to go, thank goodness, because we were teetering on the edge of out of control here under this stage caution, which is, not uncommon.
Par for the course.
Right. Yes, par for the course. It's a par 72 next week in Augusta. The National Women's Amateur at Augusta was just yesterday. All right, William Byron led every lap of that first stage. He's on the front row. On the outside of it, Ryan Priest to his inside. Green flag flies from Chief starter Joey Aycock, and stage 2 in Darlington is underway. And Byron, as he's done all day, Matt, nails the restart.
Nails the restart and takes control going into turn number 1. Ryan Priest taking control of second momentarily, but Wallace powers around the outside in that sharp-looking purple and green Columbia car. He goes to second. So it's Byron Wallace, Priest, Briscoe, Reddick, sorry, in 4th place. I'll get my cars in order as we head to Seth.
Yeah, 3 wide. Noah Gregson back there. Here's Michael McDowell shooting the middle. Shane Van Gisbergen right up against the wall.
And A.J. Allmendinger riding the rim out of turn 4 to pass Austin Cindric. And just behind that, Austin Dillon slices past Joey Logano.
And Logano will repay the favour on the outside of Dillon as they go side by side through 1 and 2. Kyle Busch in with Noah Gregson also side by side behind them, and Logano does complete that pass.
So Logano. Sorry.
Well, we'll catch up there. Ryan Blaney alongside Tyler Reddick out of turn 4. Can't make that pass. That's at 4th, going to 1.
We're still in behind with Chris Buescher just in behind them. So that is 4, 5, 6. Keselowski's next up in 7th position. We pick up Christopher Bell, who's right at the tail of the field with Chase Elliott now.
Chase Elliott to the inside. I'm sorry. What got me laughing was I was thinking more about the James Allen thing, and I told one time I did that to you over the phone, and but you didn't hear me, so I was like the producer in your ear, and Matthew's like steps in my ear impersonating an idiot.
Oh dear. Well, see the rabbit holes we go down. Yes. Let's pick up the leaders out of turn 2, coming back to Seth.
And here's Bubba Wallace, who wants to go for the lead on William Byron. Byron up against the wall, about a half a groove, lead about 3 car lengths on the 31-year-old from Mobile, Alabama.
Wallace has been 3rd each of the last 2 weeks. He runs 2nd here, Matt, and he's got a good piece underneath him this afternoon.
Yeah, continuing his strong run of the last handful of weeks. So he sits in 2nd, not letting Byron get too far away, about 4 or 5 car lengths the lead for the 2014. Then it is Priest, Reddick, and Blaney, the rest of the top 5.
Kind of spread out a little bit. Fox cameras go to the 43 car. Can't imagine why. Slick looking car. Eric Jones, of course, has won 2 times at Darlington, 2019 and in 2022. The 19 win came with the Gibbs team. 2022 came with this current team.
Trying to pass Denny Hamlin here, Matt.
Yeah, this is just outside the top 10 or so in the teens with Eric Jones and Denny Hamlin. Right, sharp looking number 43 with the stripes down the side, as ever.
Now he'll take a run to the inside of the Todd Gilliland automobile. So Gilliland will fall down and will fall back. Well, no, he fights back.
Yep, fights back off the top of turn 4. So this is a battle here for 16th on the racetrack.
Kyle Busch down in 21st. He's not had a good cycle through the pit stop sequence after getting running up front earlier. Tyler Reddick, though, sir, coming towards you, just picked off Ryan Priest.
Yes, indeed. So Tyler Reddick on the move. He's going to be a factor, you feel like, before this day's done. Meanwhile, Josh Berry goes inside of the Todd Gilliland machine.
Yeah, Jones finally completed that pass on Gilliland, who now has to play defense on our Las Vegas winner from a couple of weeks back, Josh Berry.
Yeah, throwing back to the Jim Clark Lotus from Indianapolis from the 60s, which the Wood brothers had a part in playing that win at the 500, as we were talking about that before. Number 21 car. I'm trying to pick off some places here with Gilliland ahead of him.
The Berry goat packs it way down to the inside of the Gilliland machine. And side by side as they battle out of turn 4.
Gilliland will hold on to that spot with another strong drive up off of turn number 4. Yeah, that 1965 Indianapolis 500 run on Memorial Day of 65. The 49th running of the 500 that day, won by Jim Clark. 2311 cars jousting for second as they race up out of turn number 4. The Golden Arches has paved a way to second position. He passes Darrell Wallace Jr. Tyler Reddick moves to P2.
Yeah, pass made for Tyler, so he will try and run down Byron out front now, and Wallace will settle into 3rd position. So Reddick They made some adjustments to that 45, and he is marching forward here in stage 2 as the boss man looks on.
Yeah, MJ in the house. So good to have him on occasion.
Reddick has been so strong here these past couple of years at Darlington, Matt. We mentioned it in Ones to Watch. In the last 3 Darlington races, Reddick has led 265 laps. That's close to 30% of all laps run here at Darlington the last 3 outings here.
Yeah, and showing some muscle here. This battle for third place looks like it's about to hot up, with Wallace falling back towards Priest and Ryan Blaney behind them too as they come through 3 and 4. Wallace will keep the position. Blaney, though, Priest, being under 5 from Blaney.
Yeah.
By the way, that Eric Jones 43, Seth, we were talking about that throwback. That's late 90s in the 43 car. Bobby Hamilton picked up a win in that 43 car at Phoenix back in the late 90s. And then in 99, in that 43 scheme, John Andretti pulled off a spin and win at Martinsville.
Amazing race. Boy, talk about 2 guys we miss having on this planet, man.
Yeah.
Taken way too soon from us, both of them.
Absolutely.
I always love, Eli Gold. We're Eli Gold fans around here, Matthew especially. And Joe Nemechek. I always like the way he said Bobby Hamilton.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
There's another one I like to hear him say, Bobby Hamilton.
Yeah, we do love our Eli Gold. Let's pick up the battle in turn 3.
Ryan Priest to the inside of Bubba Wallace for the number 3 position. Dives inside, doesn't quite have enough. He better be careful, Priest, because Blaney was coming outside. Meanwhile, at the lead, we got interest.
Yeah, William Byron's not been passed today, Matt, for the lead. He might be here. He's going to at least be challenged.
Yeah, Reddick has run him down over the last couple of laps after clearing his teammate. They've dropped those guys behind them, and Reddick on the charge and onto the back straight. He has got the gun sight set on that 24.
Byron with the race lead by about 2 car lengths over Tyler Reddick. Reddick stalking his tire tracks right up against the wall just the way he likes it. McDonald's car is on the move.
Byron has led every lap so far. He might be challenged here shortly. Speaking of a challenge, at 4th, Ryan Blaney to the left elbow of Ryan Priest.
Priest got out of the throttle there and let Blaney go. Gave him the corner in turn 1. So Blaney up to 4th place in that 12 car. And Priest slipping down 1 spot with Chris Buescher next up behind him.
Blaney trying to reel in his best friend, Darrell Wallace Jr. And we get a replay. Oh, well, no, it's a break. All right. Gives us a chance to tell you that next Sunday, now I will not be here, so I will go ahead and take care of this right now. Next Sunday, USRN presents the Food City 500. From Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. And if we want to go full like Jerry, we'll say Bristol, Tennessee 150 times in a 500-lap race. I do have some serious stuff if you're interested. Byron has led the first 111 laps. That's the most consecutive laps ever led by one driver to start a Darlington Cup race. And if you're into trends and you're a Byron fan, I have good news for you. The previous record was Bill Elliott. He did it in 1988. He led the first 107 laps of that year's Southern 500. Awesome Bill went on to win that race. So who said I'm just Mr. Chuckles around here? I can come up with some stuff from time to time.
That's very surprising that is the new record. I would have thought way back in the days of, Ned Jarrett winning here by 13 laps, that would have happened. Not sure how many more laps Byron is going to lead consecutively because Tyler Reddick is really hot to trot as he has continued to close in on Byron. We've just completed lap 115 of 293, 25 of 95 here in stage number 2. Everyone has settled in quite nicely. We also just had a change at 16th. Josh Berry passed Denny Hamlin. And we also had a change at 3rd, unseen by us, Matt. Ryan Blaney continues to move forward. He passed Darrell Wallace Jr.
Yeah, passed Priest a couple of laps ago, as we told you, and he's now past Wallace. And now Priest is going to try and look and getting past Wallace, who may have got the wall there in the middle of 1 and 2, a bit of a bounce off. Priest does make that move through. So Wallace, after a strong, short run, now the run has got longer. He's starting to fall back. He does not want to have happen to him what happened to Jace Briscoe earlier. Leaders back with you.
At the line, Byron's lead on Reddick will say 3 car lengths back to turn 1.
just sitting in here and probably just doing his scouting report on the 24 car at this stage of the race. Still a long, long way to go in this stage and in the race overall, but 45 car looks to have some pretty nifty speed under him.
So,
Yeah, but,
yep, go ahead.
But yeah, not overly as long as you'd think, though. I mean, we're inside the final 180 laps here. We're into the final 200 laps, whereas if this was a 500, we'd still have God knows how much longer to go.
Yeah, maybe that's why my thinking was on 500 rather than 400.
Yeah, the 500 here is just, Lord, does it drag out. That is a long night.
I love it, but yeah, you're right. It does drag out.
Oh, it's a marathon. You do
I mean,
not come to the Southern 500 expecting everyone to just be going 112% for 100% of the race.
Like, you know, I know the Coca-Cola 600 is, you know, it's the longest race by miles, but I feel like the Southern 500 is really the true endurance race of NASCAR because of the track, because of it starts in the hot day and then we go into the night. And again, the way the track works, it's a rubber band, it drags out. I feel like that's the real endurance test. Not to disrespect the 600 by any stretch, but man, you got to be, that's tough to stay focused in a car for 500 miles, any track, especially though on this track, but so many good ones. That's why I, like Matthew, feel like it doesn't get talked about enough about how impressive the feat is that Jeff Gordon won 4 of those in a row.
Darrell Wallace Jr. about to lose another position in turn 1. Brad Keselowski's going to slip to his inside and pass him. That's for 6th, Matt.
Yeah, and Zane Smith coming through as well in the 38. So he lost out to Priest and then Busher, and now those 2 guys. So Wallace back to 8th, backsliding, continuing in 23 world.
And just to mention 500-mile races at Darlington, there was a time where we did the most psychopathic thing we ever did in NASCAR, was we would run 2 500-mile races at Darlington. There were years where we would run 2 500-mile races at Darlington and 2 500-mile races at Dover and 2 500-lap races at Richmond, all in the same year.
And 2 500-mile races at Pocono.
Yes. I mean... Ooh,
well, we loaded some 500-milers back in the day, evidently.
Thank goodness we finally got to the point where we had some creativity with the schedule. Because, my God, could you imagine running 500 laps at Richmond these days? Everybody would be asleep.
I remember them running 500 laps at Richmond.
Yeah, back at the old fairgrounds.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
Back when it was a half mile, yeah.
Yeah, where Dale Earnhardt tried to kill Darrell Waltrip that time.
In '86. But yeah, Darlington is such a strange and unique track, isn't it, Matt? It really is a thinker's track. It's not enough to just be fast around here.
No, that's right. And the race, you talked about it earlier on, it's such a wide piece of tarmac, but the racing groove and the racing surface that they use is very narrow, as we've talked a lot about.
Oh, gosh.
Talking of the history of this place, we've seen some almighty crunches around here in the past, and we're seeing the famous shots of Richard Petty coming off of what was then turn number 4 and massacring the pit wall.
Kel Yarborough going over the wall one year here.
Richard in this wreck, that was the wreck in '67. Came out of, as you mentioned, Matt, what was turn 4, now is turn 2. Cracked the inside wall, flipped over, broke his arm, which was hanging out of the window of the car. That was seen on Wide World of Sports live. You didn't get a lot of live NASCAR in those days, but it was seen on ABC's Wide World of Sports Live. Jim McKay on the call that day. That was a harrowing moment for King Richard, who we talk about his 200 wins and we talk about his great victories, but he had some hard crashes, and that was certainly one of them, Matt. His teammates get together.
Yeah, Logano getting past Cindric, that would have been in prime Richard Petty era as well, wouldn't it? That late 60s, early 70s as well. So that is a change for 9th place, Logano getting ahead of Austin Cindric.
Yeah, indeed. And Cindric will lose another spot. But yeah, Blaney seems to have the right formula here, running in that number 3 position. He's just, I think he's got to say, heck, he's caught Reddick on the backstretch here. So let's follow that as Brian Blaney stalks Tyler Reddick going into that 3rd corner. Blaney on the inside, Reddick on the outside against the wall. The battle on for second place.
Coming up out of turn number 4, Blaney on the apron, sweeps up out of turn 4 in the tire tracks of Reddick. Have to say, Matt, I know there's a lot of statistics these days, analytics, NASCAR Insights on Twitter everyone loves. I don't know if there's an analytic to talk about the best long-run racers in the sport. Just in my mind, off the top of my head, Matt, I think the 3 best are running first, second, and third right now.
Yeah, may well be. These guys are the marathon men of the last few years. You talked about how well Tyler Reddick has run at this racetrack over the last couple of races. William Byron winning here a couple of years ago and being in contention in others as well. And we talked a lot about Blaney this year and how well he has gone in the long run. And he's putting another strong run together here up in the 3rd place.
I have absolutely no idea why Fox has cut away from that battle to show us the car running in 18th position all on his lonesome self. That's Denny Hamlin in the 11. We would definitely like to see that battle up front because the top 3 are separated by 3/4 of a second. That's certainly the closest it's been at the front all day. Here it is on the main straightaway, crossing the line. Reddick has a car length on Blaney.
Going into turn 1, Byron's got a bit of breathing space now that Blaney has caught up to Reddick. Talked about the rubber banding. He's banded himself back towards the 12 a little bit and given the 24 a bit of a break, jumping around all over the place. Back on the front straightaway, Hamlin, Todd Gilliland in Schmozzle, and here's Bubba Wallace Jr., who's still in 8th after his little slide through. Seems to have settled for the moment in 8th place. He's got Logano catching him.
It's the Charlotte Hornets car.
It is, yes.
Doing way better than the Charlotte Hornet team ever has.
Well, that's right.
At least in this modern incarnation of it. Oh, Blaney on pit road.
Yeah, Blaney on pit road. I saw on the tower him just go down positions. I wondered what happened. He's on pit road. So these are the first green flag pit stops of the day. And you mentioned it earlier, Matt. We've talked about tricky pit entrances this year, especially at Las Vegas and Homestead. This might be the trickiest of the bunch.
Trickiest of all of the trickiest ones. So, yeah, Blaney on his way down, clean pit stop. He's up at the entrance to pit lane, so he's got a long run down the lane on the fresh tyres. Here's Tyler Reddick in the 45 to his pit stall. Right side tyres done. They will swing around, and, of course, that Blaney stop has opened the floodgates for everybody else.
Ryan Preece is in, Todd Gilliland is in, but not in is the leader, William Byron. He's coming by us here on the main straightaway. So Rudy Fugle keeping the 24 car out a little bit longer. So what this will likely do is give the lead up when Byron does come to pit road by Blaney doing the undercut and Reddick doing the undercut, to use an F1 term at Darlington. This will likely give up the lead for Byron, but he'll have some fresher tires later in the run. Darrell Wallace Jr. is in. Brad Keselowski is in. Byron once more passes up the entrance to pit road. As Wallace comes to a stop, right sides are off and on. They go to the left sides. Keselowski is down and away. Austin Cindric is in that bright blue and yellow Ford. Also, Justin Haley peeling out of his pit box. The Gainbridge Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. See how long Rudy wants to keep this 24 car out, because you're at a time now with Reddick and Blaney, Matt, that's probably lapping close to 2 or 2.5 seconds faster than him as he stays out on these old shoes.
Kyle Busch in. Michael McDowell passing William Byron, who he has been in already. Bit of a slow stop for sideways. Brad Keselowski saves it coming through turn 4. He almost got corrected by Darrell Wallace Jr. flying by him. We stay green for the moment, but Brad has a slow moving number 6.
What happened to the 6 car? Because that's the first lap off the pit road for him.
I wonder if he was trying to slow down and get to the pit road and he had a flat right rear. That's what that was.
Yeah, that was the first lap out of pit road for him. He had just completed his stop, and somehow the right rear is down.
It's gone down, and he's then lost it with Zane Smith up on his high side.
Isn't that kind of year for Brad Keselowski, I'm afraid?
Is that wheel loose? And that's then punctured as it's hit the...
It has to be it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
He's just come out of the pits. That has to be it.
Yeah, he didn't even make a full lap. out on the track. So I think you might be right, Matt. I think the wheel
Watch out
was
for this.
loose.
Oh, they didn't stay with that camera. If they stayed with that camera, we would have seen Wallace shooting past. There's the wheel nut, look.
Oh,
There
yeah.
it is.
There, yeah, you're right.
There you
the,
go, right
the
there.
wheel nut. Yeah, it's
Good job with the camera
absolutely.
crew.
Oh, my gosh. You're absolutely right, Matt. And that makes total sense, because why would it be flat, not even a full lap on the track? As Matt mentioned, we did not get a yellow. William Byron is still not stopped. So this tells me that Rudy Fugle and the 24 team has gone on the old Chris Gabehart, Denny Hamlin plan. Keselowski has done a masterful job getting back to pit road. This has ruined his great run, story of the season so far for the 6. But what he has done is saved himself a 2-lap penalty.
Caution.
Now the caution comes out.
Debris in turn 4.
Yes, the wheel nut.
There must be a wheel nut somewhere in turn 3 and 4. Well, that has absolutely snooked everybody. That are going to get caught. A lot of people now are going to get caught a lap down. Or
Matthew.
More.
And Reddick and Blaney had just passed Byron to get back on the lead lap. Yes?
Please help me understand the NASCAR officials.
Oh, well, you're talking to the wrong person.
What?
Car gets turned, is kind of still in control, saves it, wow, caution straight away. Wheel nut comes off, car out of control, spinning through a corner, no caution until they randomly find a wheel nut that they knew that was there for like a good couple of minutes. Oh, look, caution.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person on that one. Well, and of course,
I hate
Matt...
to be that guy, but I don't think that drizzle is missing us, guys.
And as Matt and Seth
Good,
rightly
good.
said,
I can do acrobatics and tumbling commentary.
Oh God! As Matt and Seth rightly said too about Keselowski, nearly got tattooed by the onrushing Darrell Wallace Jr.
Yeah, that was disaster avoided there. Hopefully, we get another shot of that in a moment or two. We're going to see the pit stop replay here for Keselowski. This is the original pit stop. They dropped the jack on that right rear, and they weren't concerned about it and continued their work on the left-hand side.
No, they weren't concerned about it at all.
No.
So this makes me wonder. We're gonna create another problem to get an answer to, Matt. The wheel didn't come off, but it was most certainly a loose wheel, and even though the wheel didn't come off, it was loose, and it ultimately caused a spin and a caution. Is
didn't come off.
Is that penalty worthy or not?
More NASCAR rulebook grey area in this.
Yeah, exactly.
I've just seen where the wheel nut ended up. And unless if there was another bit of debris on the circuit, the wheel nut was not on the circuit.
Right down by the pit wall on the inside of the exit of turn 4, so it made it did go a long way in relative terms to that wheel nut. So there wasn't many people that stayed out, and William Byron's going to tell us who did stay out here, and they're all going to come to pit road.
And Byron and Logano come in, and it's a long way back to everyone else that has to come down pit road. So you've got Byron and Logano. Who is that further back? Is that Denny Hamlin? Josh Berry is in.
Eric,
Ryan Blaney.
What the F, NASCAR, are we effing doing? The car wrecked and we don't throw it, limping around, now there's nothing out here.
Why is that?
He hit pit road after the light change, of course. That's probably why he's upset. But
there was a pit crew member on the 24 standing in the box, and Byron was miles out. That surely has to be man over the wall too soon. That looked like Formula One pit crew just waiting on the car.
He wins the race off pit road, but we'll check back to that one.
I mean, he was halfway down pit road. Yeah, that's very. I wonder if Fox has that wrong because he didn't gain any positions.
Matthew?
Yes.
Race weather is also tracking the little bit of rain that I've spotted. It's
All
now
right.
I'll see those clouds look dark as heck over here in 3.
it is 8. The center is 8.32 miles away. I'm putting the video on JBM now. There it is.
We are
Watching on JB Motorsports on YouTube, you can see the radar as well as listed, so things happening all over the place.
5 laps shy of halfway.
Of course we are.
Of course, this is the point. This is the part where that I never hear anyone say. Could just be a dark cloud. Dark clouds don't always mean it's going to rain.
There's Josh with the radar.
Very good. You
Now,
know,
let me tell you something. I'm the only person in this chat that has been through and knows all these town names. Lamar, and Timminsville, and Florence, Quinby. Oh my God, Quinby. How many times have I stopped at little podunk gas station there on the way to the beach?
Now,
Bishopville.
Now, if someone was smart, and by someone I mean me, if I was smart, I would have given you guys the original USRN logo for Throwback Weekend. That's on me.
Set yourself a reminder on your phone for
for next year.
Right, we're 5 minutes. We're 5 minutes away from the start of the Acro Championship.
And that was on my calendar coming into the day, of course.
Okay, you don't need to be a smart aleck about it.
And I'm 5 minutes away from losing my absolute mind.
You know where I stand with this, with one of the teams that's participating in this. You know where I stand. You know how much fun I have with it.
Oh dear, that's Blue Skies up here.
Blue Sky up here too. Anyway. If it does rain, I swear, by God, we are making history. The first ever to note radio broadcast of Acro.
Sure.
Yeah. The seventh pyramid is. Oh, she nails the landing. It looked good to me, but we'll see what the judges
got. Okay, so
that's seriously what I think every time I watch it, though. I'm amazed how good they are.
This is, of course, our anniversary weekend on USRN. We've been around for 8 years now.
Well, this was Rabble. This happened.
Yeah, this just means we're old. But yes, prior to the USRN days, we were on something called Rabble TV, no longer in existence, which is a shame because it was free. But we did the Olympics in 18. No,
16.
Not 18. 16. Yeah, 16 in Rio, of course. And this... I'm sorry, this clown that's standing on top of the Earnhardt Towers right now... What did you do? Synchronized diving?
It was like diving or something.
And he sits there and he said, "Well, it looks good to me. We'll see what the judges think."
That could give you a proper, it feels like a 650 twist salto or whatnot.
A classic moment.
In every USRM broadcast, Matthew loses his mind. We have now reached that point.
Matthew and Seth lose their mind. Get it right, Josh. Don't leave me out of it. Come on.
All right, coming to the restart. Byron on the outside of row 1. Logano to his inside. As we close in on halfway, Joey Acock puts the green flag in the air, and Byron once again takes off. But Logano is stuck with him this time, stride for stride.
A good push from Christopher Bell as they headed towards turn 1. The players at the front of the field have changed outside of the 24 car, who will lead them coming out of turn number 2 from Logano. Bell has slipped back because he's lost the place to Denny Hamlin and Josh Berry.
Good battle here between Christopher Bell. First time we've seen him up in the front of the running order today. He battles Josh Berry.
Comes up out of turn number 4, wheel to wheel. Berry with a good run off the top of the corner. He'll put that Jim Clark Lotus car back into the 4th position.
Head of Bell. Then it's Ty Gibbs and Ty Dillon. So the ties are tied up in what's that, 6th and 7th position. And Alex Bowman behind them. But Berry has completed that pass on Bell.
Yeah, Matt, you got Ty and Ty back there.
Of course.
And Bell goes inside of Berry for 4th. Well, Briscoe really washed up into Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney and Reddick, who of course were caught out by the timing of the caution, did get back on the lead lap, Matt, so they weren't trapped a lap down, but they were at the end of the lead lap to come to pit road, so they've got track position to make up.
They're 9th and 10th at the moment as they cross the line. So we know how fast those two are. They've got Alex Bowman next up ahead of them, or certainly Reddick has. But just ahead of them, Bell and Berry still going at it for 4th.
Indeed. And whoa, here's a schnozzle. Bubba Wall's going to thread the needle between one of the Rick Ware cars and Austin Cindric.
Yeah, got around Cody Ware, then back around the outside of Austin Cindric, and Wallace is trying to get back towards the front. Okay.
Yeah, been snookered well back. Top bunch, all single file. Ryan Blaney looks like he's got around Tyler Reddick unseen by us. And he has. He's moved past him and he's going past Bowman as well.
Indeed. As Bowman now way to the outside and, cut in front of Tyler Reddick. My God, that was close.
Highest we've seen Bowman all day long. Back in black in the 48, Matt.
Yeah, he took advantage of staying out longer on that run and gave him some track position. But Blaney now marching as he continues to do so, back up to 8th after being 3rd prior to that pit cycle / caution area.
Speaking of back in black, check your text messages, Matthew. Bowman goes inside of Ryan Blaney. It really doesn't go inside of him as Blaney's starting to pull away from Bowman. Tyler Reddick's trying to go inside of Bowman, though.
Yeah, Blaney trying to jet away here in the 8th position. Ty Dillon dead ahead.
Just 6th of a second the gap at the front between Byron and Logano, so you're not missing anything there. Hamlin, Bell, Berry, the rest of the top 5. Ty Gibbs, Ty Dillon, and then this panel we've been focusing on between Blaney, Bowman, and Reddick.
Yeah, indeed, that is the battle. Whoa! Gibbs got a bit of the wall there off 4. Ty Gibbs, that was more than a kiss.
He does get the wall, but he keeps on trucking as Ty Dillon is stuck right underneath his tailpipe.
Through turns 1 and 2 they come. Meanwhile, Byron's just edging away from Joey Logano, and we bounce back to Ryan Blaney again, still in that 8th place.
Ryan Blaney in P8. Up against the wall there. Meanwhile, Byron's lead about 5 car lengths on Logano on the exit of the number 4 turn.
Logano and a Cale Yarborough throwback who was so good here, running into 2nd position. Then comes Hamlin, Bell, and Berry, Matt, with another tremendous run.
Yeah, very, very strong start to the season from Josh Berry. Of course, got that win, very emotional win for him and the Wood Brothers team at Las Vegas a few weeks back.
Meanwhile, further back, for some reason, the World Championship at Kyle Busch is in there. That's why we're showing it. World Championship at 24th place. As Justin Haley goes inside of Todd Gilliland. Also, Keselowski, Kyle Busch. Meanwhile, we got to report that Chase Elliott pitted twice under the last caution just to make sure all those wheels were secure. Yeah, after what happened with Keselowski, yeah, you want to make sure all that's on the up and up.
Yeah, and of course, Keselowski lost multiple laps with that incident, having to come down pit road first under green, then under caution. So he is now 2 laps down in the 36th position is Keselowski. And as you mentioned earlier, Matt, about just because Chase Elliott just got mentioned, have we mentioned him at all today?
No, he's 13th at the moment. And apart from the mentions when we said we haven't mentioned him, that's the only times we've mentioned him. Chase Elliott, and same was going true for Alex Bowman before he popped himself up into the top 10. So 3 cars off the lead lap: Stenhouse, Keselowski, and Hocevar off of the lead lap, and all 3 of those. Well, Stenhouse hasn't, but Hocevar and Keselowski we know have had their issues so far today.
Seth, let's talk about a couple of guys that's gotten towards the top 15 or so. Highest up we've seen John Hunter Nemechek, who runs 15th, and just behind him, Austin Hill has climbed up to 16th, Seth, the Xfinity Series regular.
Yeah, he started near back of the field. He was second to last on the grid, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, he's had a good showing today. Joe Nemechek, of course, that 42 number in the Bell South Mobility team.
Yeah,
run him high.
Yeah, that's the throwback to the old 42 look, which does look terrific with the uneven number plates.
I know technically it exists under another name, but I miss the name. I miss the name Bell South. I miss Bell South.
Yeah, the Bell South Mobility Team.
Now, of course, a lot of Bell South around here, is a southern thing. One thing I always remember about Bell South, they were the main sponsor of SEC football on Jefferson Pilot Sports for a long time.
That's right. Also, Matt, just behind that duo that we were just talking about with Nemechek and Hill is Ryan Preece. He got caught out with the timing of the pit stops and the caution, and a guy that's been top 5 all day is now mired back in 17th.
Yeah, long way down for him. Austin Cindric has been top 10 a lot of the day. He's 22nd. Zane Smith, likewise, he's just behind Cindric in 23rd. We mentioned before, Gilliland, Bush and Haley all on top of each other there in the 20s as well. So we've had a big shuffle of the general running order after that incident with Keselowski and the caution and people staying out, but it worked out pretty well for the 24 team.
Everything's worked out well for the 24 team today, as he has just been just about untouchable. Only a couple of cars have even been close to him throughout the day. We are just across the halfway point. Give our guys out in the corners and in the conditions today a chance to catch their breath as we go to our USRN mid-race report. Just past the halfway point of the Goodyear 400 at Darlington, William Byron is the leader. He started on the pole. He led every lap of stage 1, and he has just about led every lap of the race. And when I say just about, I do mean every lap. There has been no lead changes in this race. Through 157 laps, we've had 5 cautions, and as mentioned, 0 lead changes. Every lap has been led by Byron. So you will be not shocked to know that so far Byron holds the Xfinity fastest lap of the race to this point at a time of 29.404 seconds. Just to illustrate Byron's dominance, if I haven't done that enough already for you, he has 5 of the 8 fastest laps that have been run today. So Rudy Fugle and the 24 team has it hooked up. We had a lap 4 caution for a Kyle Larson crash off of turn 2. One of the race's favorites went out early. He will be credited with a 38th place finish today. Of the 38 starters, 36 are still on the racetrack. The only 2 that are not is Larson and J.J. Yaley. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Brad Keselowski, and Carson Hocevar are off the lead lap. That's been your USRN mid-race report. And we also just had a moment, Matt. Speaking of Darlington Stripes, Ryan Blaney got it off of turn 4, but that might have been a bit heftier than you'd normally like.
Yeah, that was a big rubber down the wall coming out of turn number 4 there for Ryan. I was about to say, add to your retirement list, could have had Blaney's name on it if he hit that any harder. So bit of a much scary moment for Ryan, who's found himself now in 6th with Ty Gibbs just in his wheel tracks.
So, off of that mid-race report, Seth Eves at the top of turns 3 and 4 for us this afternoon. Seth, your thoughts through the first half of the Goodyear 400?
I mean, it's hard not to say anything else other than this William Byron has had everybody in hell all day. And, you know, we've had comers and goers, like right now, Ty Dillon running inside the top 10. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay. Anyway, Ty Dillon, 8th place, having a solid run. What a interesting race this has been, second on back. But, boy, at the first, man, it's been no contest. Oh, okay. See, when he typed that, I thought it was a weather related issue.
We behind the scenes, we just had emojis pop up on our screen up here in the super booth.
Yeah, it was, as we have a look at the clouds, NASCAR just did an official check for rain. Nothing found for now. The cell that was above the circuit has weakened, but now we've got another one which is a little bit further behind, as I've just got a note that the 5 is coming back from behind the wall.
Yeah, I just got that same note. I just said that Larson's out of the race. I guess he's not. Bob Pockris is reporting that Larson was told as far as the front clip and suspension of the car goes that it's not hurt. So Larson's going to come back on the racetrack, Matt. talk about throwback weekend. That's going to give you a throwback feel. A car that many laps down in damage going to come back into the race.
Yeah, so they must have changed the front bumper assembly, radiators, or whatever else was damaged in behind there on Tony the Tiger, and get him back out there and at least log some laps and pick up some data and perhaps pick up a few, perhaps necessary championship points later on down the line.
Yeah, we'll see if we can. Just to circle back to you, Matt, on the mid-race report, your thoughts of the race so far and your thoughts of what the 24 is doing. I mean, it is throwback weekend, and this is a throwback performance by a 24 car, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. We talked about that a little while ago. Absolute curb stomp going on here from William Byron on the rest of the field. But as I've said a few times, that last caution shook up the running order. We've got a few more players in the game in terms of the top 10, but no one able to hold a candle to the 24 team out front.
Yeah, this is, Seth, this puts me in mind of the 2001 spring race at Dover, huh?
Oh, yes. What was it, 393 of 400 he led that day?
381. Okay.
381. All right. So I pulled a Matthew Owens. I overstated his time. He led only 381. How dare I? Wow. He really was a bum. He only led 381. But anyway, of course, the last time somebody had led every single lap, pitched a perfect game in the Cup Series, the year 2000, where Jeff Burton led every single lap at New Hampshire, or New Hampshire, as some of us like to refer it as. Of course, that was in the wake of the deaths of Adam Petty and Kenny Irwin at New Hampshire. They put restrictor plates on the cars at New Hampshire, and result was Jeff Burton whooping the field and leading 300 of 300 laps.
Yeah, that's right. They put restrictor plates on the cars at New Hampshire. You heard that absolutely right.
I know I'm stupid, but I was actually being serious when I said that.
As JT mentioned, Larson is back on the track and has met minimum speed, and they've actually done quite a good job on the repair job of the car. Unfortunately, he has rejoined on the track as I scroll down 159 laps down.
I don't think he's making those up.
I don't think there's enough free passes to go around.
Yeah, Michael McDowell, his free pass, that was impressive. That was crazy enough at Atlanta. Was it in Atlanta? Was it him at Atlanta who got all those free passes?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. He matched. I think he match or break the record of free passes given to one driver? Because Kyle Busch had all those that he got at Watkins Glen in 06. And McDowell either
by one.
Yeah,
I think he could draw.
Yeah. So, anyway, yes. It's just been the William Byron benefit to this point, and actually Seth brings up a good point, since there has not been a change of the lead, Matt. We talked about, everything we talked about, Matt, at the Las Vegas race was, could Christopher Bell make history by winning 4 straight? Are we getting into territory of saying, hold on a minute, is William Byron going to pitch a perfect game?
Still a long way to go here, and multiple pit stops to happen, and we've got, of course, the caution to come at the end of this stage, which is not looming. So let's get through the next little while and see where we are, I think, with Byron. But it's on the cards at the moment. Kyle Larson, as you mentioned, so far down. Even if someone was to retire now, he still wouldn't catch them if he ran all the rest of the laps. He's not going to gain any positions from where he is. So he's still going to be credited with, he'll pass JJ Yaley, who of course is also in the race. He's the only person he will pass, though, on the day. No stage points, of course, up for grabs for the 5 team being so far out of contention. So it is just a data logging exercise pretty much for Kyle Larson.
Yeah, we'll see if once they make that place on Yaley, if they bring him into the garage and retire the car, or if they're just going to run it to the end to see. I mean, it could be a test session based on what kind of lap times can we do, how competitive can we be when we've replaced so much on the front end of the car. So we'll see. The front nose of the car, of course, Matt.
Front nose, very good.
Yeah, I had front nose surgery today, that car.
Yeah. He's looking through the front windscreen.
That's right. So so we will see as what the 5 team chooses to do. Tight racing going on between John Hunter Nemechek and Chase Briscoe. Briscoe has recovered after that dropping of anchor earlier when he went from top 5 to 30th. He's recovered to 15th, racing for 14th with Nemechek. But it is William Byron who has been up front all day long. I've always wanted to call a perfect game or even a no-hitter in baseball. Who knows? Byron could give us one today in NASCAR. Be a heck of an achievement. One thing that we eliminated from the lexicon of NASCAR races, didn't we, Matt, was caution-free races. We'll never get one of those again. I don't think many people thought we'd ever get someone lead every lap. Like you said, long way to go, but he's made it 175 laps without being passed for the lead.
Yeah, and 10 to go in this second stage, and he's about to catch the back end of the field into first one. He will catch Seth, coming towards you as his teammate, Carl Larson.
Yeah, indeed. And so Byron, I'm sure he never thought he'd be passing Larson in this instance today.
Yeah.
But such it goes, out of turn 4. Jeff Gordon, but we do this once every so during a throwback race. I'll start. Jeff Gordon just put a lap on Terry Labonte.
It was interesting, too, Matt. We were talking about that 2001 Dover race that Jeff Gordon led 95% of, and Fox didn't show Jeff Gordon. They're slacking.
We've got our Jeff Gordon moment in, I guess. It was 24 and 24 last year on USRN.
Right.
And we've had 2 absolute spot-on mentions of Jeff Gordon, and there he pops up on screen as we talk about him this year, you more than we. But it's happening again today, so tune in to Bristol Motor Speedway next Sunday to see if it happens again.
Yeah, plenty of ways to bring up Jeff Gordon at Bristol, of course.
Thunder Valley!
Boy, did we have fun on that race last year. The Food City 500.
Oh,
my gosh. 54 lead changes in that race. I mean, that's just ridiculous to even think about.
We got to about lap 15 or 20 and went, something's happening here. We're not sure what it is, but something's going on.
Yeah, one of the clips from that race was you saying this is like a Formula E race at Bristol. I mean, that's what it was.
That's a sentence.
It is.
Formula E at Homestead Miami Speedway next weekend.
Yes, that's exactly right. Live on JBM. There you go.
Formula E at Homestead. I guess is there a road course inside Homestead?
Huh?
Yep.
I've had a Grand-Am on there in years past, but it's not been used for a very long time in any
that's
level.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's kind of cool, man.
Yeah, that was the time where Grand-Am was going to a lot of NASCAR racetracks and running infield road courses. Texas,
Iowa.
Homestead, Iowa, Phoenix. Yeah. Mark Martin ran that Grand-Am race at Iowa in what, 07? 06, 07, something around that? Yeah.
A night race, Iowa.
I'm right in saying there's no banked corners on the Homestead Miami road course, though, is there?
No, they're not using any of the NASCAR turns. You're quite right, JT. They're going to split off to the left at the end of pit wall, basically.
Which is a little bit of a shame, because...
Yeah, that's no fun. You kidding me?
I think I kind of guess they've used the Peraltada at Mexico, but that's not banked anymore.
Just wait until Formula E go to Daytona road course.
Oh God. Oh, well, I can't wait to get to Mexico City on Father's Day weekend, and I can't wait to bring the field off the Peraltada.
Don't you do it.
I've been studying my Spanish. Thank you, Rosetta Stone.
All right, Charles Barkley, don't you do it.
Yep. Oh, we can't wait. Father's Day weekend on USRN Deportes.
Shut up. So it's Ultimate Sports Radio Network Sports? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right.
Better than UNB Deportes, I guess.
Oh, anyway. For heaven's sakes. 4 laps to go in the stage. By the way, Greg Biffle, now 3 to go in the stage, beg your pardon. Greg Biffle has joined the Fox booth upstairs, next to us.
Biffle's got a coach.
He is in a... Thank you. He is in a sleeveless shirt, I may add, Biffle is.
Oh, God, he's going for the Pat McAfee look.
Of course he is.
Biffle.
So William Byron... William Byron's lead is starting to shrink here in the final laps of this stage on Joey Logano. It's about 1.1 seconds But again, when he gets to the line next time, which he just has done, 2 laps to go in the middle stage.
Can I say one more thing here? William Byron's been dominating. Final Four is San Antonio. Final Four full 1 seeds. This race is over.
Oh boy, thank you.
Is it? Yes, it is. Wow.
No one quotes idiots quite like we do. Final lap of stage 2 underway. William Byron's lead, Matt, as he goes back to turn 1, is a little under a second.
He is. Ryan Blaney got around Josh Berry a lap or so ago. He's got the blowtorch to the rear bumper of Denny Hamlin, trying to get 3rd place away at the end of the stage. 1st and 2nd look set there, though, Seth. William Byron heading to you.
Yep, all Byron as he works his way through, going to win another stage, and he is the man with the plan this afternoon, folks.
Green and white checkered flag waving. Here's Liberty Bill to win stage 2 of the Goodyear 400 at Darlington. Byron claims the 1st and 2nd stages of the Goodyear 400. Logano 2nd, Hamlin 3rd, Blaney 4th, Barry 5th, and stage 2 is in the books here in Darlington, South Carolina. We've got a hot lap coming up. We've also got a Wide World of Sports update coming up. And as I step off headset for just a moment, we will get you to those 2 pieces of business here. Seth Eves will quarterback that exchange.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about the hot lap. Yeah. Been so long since I got a race, I've kind of forgotten about it.
Not a lot happened this weekend, as it were.
What now? I'm sorry.
Not a lot happened this weekend.
Very, very true. Should we start with the Wide World of Sports update? I think we have our first set of scores from the Acro final. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway. The tumbling heat. Anyway. That seriously is one of the events is called. Begrudging congratulations to the old man from Up, also known as Gino Oriema. UConn beat South Carolina 82-59 to win the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. Paige Beckers goes out goes out with a victory. Why couldn't Caitlin Clark go out like that? Some things aren't fair, I guess. To the National Basketball Association, 2 games in progress. Lakers all over the Thunder, 103-77 at the end of the 3rd. And with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd, Toronto leads Brooklyn 80-67. Chicago beat Charlotte 131-117 earlier today. Major League Baseball, Astros and Twins are tied at 7 at the top of the 9th. Same score for the Padres and the Cubs. The Rays and Rangers are tied at 3 in the bottom of the 9th. Rockies lead the A's 7-4 in the bottom of the 8th. San Francisco 4-2 up on Seattle in the bottom of the 5th. Cleveland and LA tied at 2, bottom of the 5th. Finals from today. Nick Castellanos hit a grand slam. Philadelphia takes 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers, 8-7. Yankees lose 5-4 in extra innings to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Washington a 5-4 winner over Arizona. Corbin Burns a loser in that one. Boston beat St. Louis 5-4 in extra innings. Tigers over the White Sox 4-3. Spencer Torkelson a 2-run double in the 9th. Winning it for the Tigers, the Mets sweep the Blue Jays for the first time since 2001. 2-1 the final there. Kansas City beat Baltimore 4-1. Chris Bubik took a shutout into the 7th inning. And Matthew, I regret to inform you the Reds got beat again, 8-2 by Milwaukee. National Hockey League, of course, the story of the day. Alexander Ovechkin passes Wayne Gretzky for the most goals in NHL history. Goal 895 was scored in the Capitals' 4-1 loss to the New York Islanders. 2 other games in progress. Minnesota leads Dallas 2-1 in the 3rd. Ottawa 2-0 up on Columbus in the 1st. In the Premier League earlier today, Tottenham relegated Southampton 3-1. Leaders Liverpool were beaten 3-2 at Fulham. And a couple of derbies that ended in goalless draws in the capital, Brentford against Chelsea. And the Manchester derby also ended a dull goalless affair between Manchester United and Manchester City, as opposed to it being Manchester, a non-Manchester club in a Manchester derby. Because, well, what sense would that make? All right. Racing reference is here. Why is it here? Because it's time for a hot lap. Duh. Yesterday, the NASCAR Xfinity Grand National Series ran The Sport Clips Haircuts VFW Help a Hero 200. Brandon Jones got his first win in roughly 3 years. His second ever win at Darlington. He only led 24 laps. Jones, though, led the last 12, past Brennan Poole on a late restart. He held off Chase Elliott, Justin Allgaier, Ross Chastain, Clarkson, Quapple, the rest of the top 5. The overall point leader is Justin Allgaier by 71 over Sam Mayer. Earlier this morning in Formula One land, Max Verstappen won the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. And also of note, last night, Ryan Newman won the Rumble at Rougemont modified race at the Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina. A reminder that NASCAR is hitting some really good tracks to go watch races and good areas to go visit the next few weeks. Bristol, Tennessee is coming up here. That's next week. Of course, Easter weekend is Xfinity and Truck Weekend at Rockingham. Oh, cannot wait for the return of NASCAR to the Rock. That should be a ton of fun. So that'll be interesting there in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, after we do that, the Cup Series will return with a trip to Talladega. Then in May, Texas, Kansas, North Wilkesboro, and Charlotte. You want to go see any of those events, you can go call up the track's local ticket office, or they'll be more than happy to help get you set up for a great weekend of racing, or you can go online or go on their app, whatever way you best feel comfortable buying tickets. Please buy some, go experience a NASCAR race. You will not forget it. That was a USRN Hot Lap.
All right, very good. Thank you, Seth. By the way, we debuted a new spot this weekend as William Byron has won the race off of pit road under this caution. Everybody came to pit road, as you would imagine, and very slow on the 12 stop, so more track position loss for Blaney. One day soon, live on these airwaves, Ryan Blaney is going to be having a day like William Byron. He'll have led 170 of 175 laps, and a literal piano will fall out of the sky on top of his car. Anyway, we debuted a new spot this weekend, highlighting the racing highlights to come in the month of April. Matt White was very nice enough to voice that for us. And what does he say at the very end? He says an Xfinity Series race at Rockingham.
Yes.
Not at Corby, unfortunately.
Yes.
Another oval that has an infield. But sorry, I should have Rockingham that up, shouldn't I?
Oh God.
Oh well.
Does anybody want an acro score?
No one knows what it means.
Okay then. I'll take that as a no.
No one knows what the scoring means. Just tell us who's in front.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about the score either. I'm just amazed at how the athletes do that with that stuff without breaking their neck.
Now is one of the judges for this event Tony Padilla?
Oh God, jeez. Well, if you want to hurt the sport's credibility, that'd be a way to go. Good
Matthew.
grief.
Yeah. Yes.
Since we're talking about Rockingham / Rockingham,
There you go.
us Brits are in a little bit of a scenario here. Do we call it Rockingham, or do we go the American way and call it Rockingham?
Speaking of this actor, there's this one lady there wearing a black outfit. I've had talks to her before. She's not very good at responding, or so I hear.
Also, is it New Hampshire or New Hampshire?
Remember New Hampshire? Well, that's when I said that earlier. That was I wouldn't say a dig. That was an homage to Matt. Or I'm sorry, another memory here. One of my favorites. He only did it once, but he did the Road America Cup race of 2021. It was the Super Booth, the three of us, and then Pierre Moss. Now, he only did it once, but Pierre, the first lap of the race, tosses his baton to Matt. We said, and as we don't go to Matthew White.
Oh dear. Oh my.
I just love the way he said that. Yeah. Did you get the dig I made just a minute ago as well?
Yeah. Yes. It wasn't. It wasn't overly subtle.
It was neither pretty nor subtle. Neither is that.
Anyway,
Larson Smith.
Anyway, when we come on the air on Easter weekend, it will be pronounced Rockingham on our end, and I hope your hams are well and cooked as well.
I've just had the officials blowing in my ears, Matthew.
Uh-huh.
And Stenhouse Jr. has been sent to the rear for probably the weirdest thing we've had this year, and we've had a couple of weird things. He's been sent to the rear for throwing equipment. Yes, throwing equipment.
Oh, wow. Heavens.
Wow, Matthew. So did he learn that from Robbie Gordon?
Add
Lord.
SVG to the rear for speeding on pit road. Gregson to the rear for not being single file in outermost lane entering pit road under caution. And, well, I believe Larson is involved in another penalty as well, so that's bad to worse to
that's
unimaginable. And the classic Bob Pockrass tweet of Blaney slow stop. He must be getting a little bit bored of writing that today. Stop,
yes.
Stop, he's already dead, the Ryan Blaney fans are saying.
That's the second penalty, in the last 3 weeks we've had for someone not being single file on pit road.
We're going to have a right at 100 lap mad dash for the money here.
Well, we'll see if anyone's able to dash after William Byron, who has still led every lap of this race.
I got a hunch.
Yeah.
I got a hunch. No. If you think anybody's going to pass William Byron, I got those words for you. Me culo.
That'll also be a part of our Mexican broadcast on Father's Day weekend. That race still does not have a name, but here's hoping that it's the NASCAR Mexican Grand Prix. I'm sure there's some copyright issues that keep it from being that.
I thought it was going to be called the Border Cartel 250.
Okay, thank you. Here comes the field. That'll be fine. Out of turn 4, William Byron on the outside of row 1. Joey Logano to his left elbow. Joey Aycock set to put the green flag in the air. He does, and we get the final stage underway in Darlington. William Byron once again with a good restart leads to turn 1.
Getting a push from Denny Hamlin from behind. Logano will try and force it to fit into turn number 1, but he wasn't close enough, so Byron will lead them out of 2 side by side for second. Hamlin trying to power around the outside of Logano. Behind them is Gibbs and Bell.
But shock horror, Byron is gone. Hamlin to second. Here's Logano inside of Bell for third.
Comes up out of turn 4, those two similarly colored cars. Bell gets the run off the outside. Logano will fall in line behind him with Josh Berry in 5th.
After a slow start to the race, and we made mention of it, Christopher Bell's rebounded very well, and he's now up into 3rd position after passing Logano. Side by side coming out of turn number 2, and around goes Josh Berry. He will slide and hit the wall on the inside, pretty much exactly where Kyle Larson hit it earlier on. Caution is out for the 21. That pretty Ford with the Lotus paint scheme on it is junked on the back straightaway.
That's such a shame.
He was racing Tyler Reddick hard for what would have been 5th position. And much like Kyle Larson earlier on in the race, the rear just swapped ends, or they exited turn number 2, and he was a passenger from there.
Since his win in Las Vegas, Berry has had good runs. He was up front at Homestead and up front at Martinsville, and then again today. The problem has been getting the finishes that he's deserved. He was involved in the pit road crash at Homestead that cost him finishing positions, a battery issue last week, and now today, in the final 100 laps while battling in the top 5, he crashes out of turn 2. It really has been, Matt, a season of good runs for this 21 team, but unfortunately, the last 3, it's just been things have gotten in the way of it.
Yeah, and this time it was Tyler Reddick that got in his way. There was contact between the two, which shot Berry up the track into the outside wall, and then he spun down and took a hard shot right front corner into the wall on the inside. And that will end the day for the 21 team, unfortunately, as you mentioned. Yeah, since that win in Las Vegas, it has been 3 weeks of woe, really, for for Josh Berry.
Yeah, he was close to winning the first stage last week, then had an ill-timed caution come out, and then a battery failure. Had multiple battery failures last week in Martinsville.
They ran out of batteries entirely on
Yeah.
the pit down within Ford or within the Penske camp during the race last week. Of course, Martinsville, there's no inner and outer access during the race, so they'd had another one go down, they would have been in real problem. Talking about Bristol next week, Josh Berry certainly will be one person looking forward to getting to Bristol. He was in the conversation in that crazy race that we had there last spring.
About 3 hours roughly from his hometown too, Hendersonville, which is just outside of Matthew's favorite place, Nashville. Hold on, I'm doing the research right now, so you don't have to, Josh. 4.5 hours via Interstate 40, so about 300 miles east, or 300 miles west, I should. Yeah, 300 miles west of his hometown. For Bristol wise, I was trying to let Jerry Baker give you directions there. By the way, Matthew, speaking of which,
I zoned out because I was looking at NASCAR Chasm. What? I heard my name. Hello.
You're good. You're good. Go back to whatever you were doing for the time being. I've been. We're gonna talk more about this soon, like off air, like tomorrow, or whatever. But I've been on an NBA on TNT kick because it's nearing the end, and plus they were doing some like footage of like some random old NBA stuff. Listen to this. There was an Indiana Pacers gang. I guess the Pacers here. Jerry Baker and Clark Kellogg.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Oh, Lord. Wonder how that sounded. Can only imagine on that one.
I think that's Reggie Miller. I can't see who it is. Clark, you got I do. Reggie, he made the three right in front of us. You can't see that. Your eyes need spurtability, Jerry. Let it finish, Jerry.
Couple of guys on pit road here under this caution.
We have lost control. We have Mark Richt and Kirby Smart at this broadcast.
No, nothing could go that far. As
you want to bet?
Let's fire up some music that you guys can't hear, but I promise you it is
playing.
playing.
What I said before the last restart.
Yeah. I promise you it is playing. 49 days away from the 109th running of the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500-mile race, live on USRN at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. What was that?
You're playing Delta Force, aren't you? And I can't hear it. This is not good news.
Yeah, I knew it was Delta Force. I mean, I'm just picturing it in my head.
Yes. Yeah, imagine it playing. That's right. Use your imagination. 49 days away, May 25th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, live on USRN. It'll also be on JBM immediately following Monaco. We cannot wait. The 109th Indianapolis 500. There have been 3 Pete bids this year that have come up short. Kansas City did not win the Super Bowl. Connecticut did not win the College Basketball National Championship. I'm not saying hallelujah to either one of those, but I'm sure there are people that have. Will Joseph Newgarden become the first man ever to win 3 straight Indy 500s? Yes, sir.
No, that was just me raising my hand to the hallelujah part of it.
Oh. Very good.
We've already had the last real big piece of Indy history on the Ultimate Sports Radio Network. Let's hope we get another one in 49 days' time.
Yeah, so after Monaco, we'll go to the Indianapolis 500, and Alexander Rossi, the big blocker.
Oh, yes, Josh.
I just raised my hand because I could, but someone's been done for speeding, so I don't know who, but I will tell you if I find out.
Okay. I don't know who got caught for speeding.
Wow, speaking of Jerry Baker, but anyway.
It is fast up here, too.
Was that USRN's and JBM's version of, I don't know, Jeff Hasler?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, so I'll say yes just to make you happy. That's why we're here. We're in the people-pleasing business.
Well, was it last week at Martinsville, Josh?
There's been a pit road speeding penalty, but for who, JT?
Yeah.
I don't know, Matthew.
We were laughing about that last week too.
Now I get it. Limestone leads by 4/1500ths of a point after 2 events in the Acro.
Or what? What did you say?
When you round it up, it's the Limestone score is 62.925. The opposition's is 62.500.
And a 62.925 may get you the pole on Father's Day weekend in Mexico City.
You're stupid. Which I know that's a pot called Monica pot meat kettle, whatever the saying is.
Yes.
God. Matt.
Here they come out of the Peraltada.
Matt, did you realize 6 years ago when you agreed to join this sort of affair, you'd be subjected to this much crap?
No, not a shot.
You didn't know how much your life was going to change 6 years ago, did you?
No, I was brutally unaware of said impending change.
Oh dear. Well, of course, we have been celebrating the anniversary all weekend long. In all seriousness, 8 years since we started this thing, as the field gets one to go. And of course, Matt, the month of May at Indianapolis we celebrate that a lot around here, and of course, that's your anniversary.
Yeah, so what will that be? That'll be 6 years, won't it?
Oh gosh.
In a couple of weeks, in about 5 weeks' time.
Matthew.
Uh-huh.
What year anniversary is this year for you becoming the mayor of Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, you'll have to ask Seth that. He's the one that started that campaign.
Seth.
They didn't have him there for the opening of the museum.
See, I've known him since 2015. So this will be his 11th year serving the role.
Oh, very good.
He's in the middle of his 3rd term. He's ran unopposed in the last 2 elections.
Well, and of course it was Seth. It was Seth that started that campaign, and it was I'm sure he ran smear campaigns over Joe Hocksett, the Indianapolis mayor, for the last 9 years.
Joe Hocksett, that pork barrel spending clown. But anyway,
So
49th mayor of Indianapolis. Thank you.
basically, what we're saying is that it's the mayor of Indianapolis Motor Speedway is too tough to tame. That's why he's been doing it for so long. Got it.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, well done. He's brought it all the way back.
Here comes the field.
Coming to the green.
Yeah, coming to the green. Byron on the front row, as he's done all day, chooses the outside. Christopher Bell to his inside. Green flag in the air. And Bell has picked up a very good restart. Matt, he's going to take the fight to Byron.
They'll have a nose in front as they head towards turn 1. First time that Byron's been headed all day. Byron will keep it wound up on the outside as they come through turn number 2. They'll be side by side off the corner. Likewise, behind them, Reddick and Hamlin battle right on for the lead, heading towards Seb.
Dead even, by far the most Byron has been threatened all day. Bell on the inside. Dead even. Byron, though, with a great surge out of 4.
Byron comes up out of turn 4. He's able to get strike 3 on Bell. The perfect game is still intact.
Yeah, he got back to the line before Bell, so the lap was led by the 24. He'll try and see if he can stretch away here. Hamlin shuffled himself into 3rd place ahead of Reddick, and then Logano, and then Gibbs. That's the rest of the top 6. Byron leading.
Meanwhile, 3 wide Schmazel further back. I can never say that right. Kyle Busch splitting with John Hunter Nemechek. He also further up, Ryan Blaney makes a move on Ryan Preece.
Blaney gets by Preece, trying to make up lost ground off the slow pit stop. Preece shoves him down the straightaway, right towards Ross Chastain.
Yeah, right to the back of the number 1 Busch Light Trackhouse car. Blaney will drift right up to the wall in the middle of the corner. See if he can get a run down the back straight away. Here's Reddick, though, trying to repass Denny Hamlin.
Oh.
And look at the blank front straightaway for some reason. Austin Dillon battles Shane Van Gisbergen. And then you got Ricky Stenhouse, and we're going to have a replay of something, I think.
I think Fox is interviewing Josh Berry, and that's why we got the very strange camera cut, and now the replay of the Berry crash, yes. So Byron holding on to the lead, but Christopher Bell trying to keep him honest. Matt mentioned just a few moments ago when we were covering Bell. Yeah, he is out of the care center. Very good. Matt mentioned earlier when we were covering Bell, when he dropped anchor like he did, he nearly fell off the lead lap. Did a great job to stay on it. That saved his race. And now here he is up in second. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney trying to go after Darrell Wallace Jr., Matt, and he is doing it, going back into turn number 1, and he's got it made.
Those two and Ryan Priest just behind them seem to have been racing around each other pretty much all afternoon. And Blaney has got past both of those guys now. They're up a couple of positions. Bell, though, keeping Byron honest at the front.
He is. Yeah, Byron's not getting away. The lead remains at about 2 car lengths.
Back to the main straightaway, Byron from Bell, then Hamlin, Reddick, Logano, and Ty Gibbs in search of a good run, Matt, running in position 6.
Yeah, don't cross your fingers too soon, but Gibbs in 6th here, and he's been in around the top 10 pretty much the whole of the second half of the race so far, sitting in just behind Logano. You've got Alex Bowman in behind him, Busher, Elliott, and Eric Jones round out the top 10.
Just about to say, a knock on wood shout out to Eric Jones, who's worked his way into the top 10. Busher went 7th from Bowman. Bowman's going to cut him off.
Busher sneaks a peek to the inside off of turn 4. Bowman does stay just ahead, but Busher has a run on him going back to 1.
Wasn't close enough to make a move into 1. He'll stay mid-track in behind the 48 coming out of 2 this time. Got the crossover. Almost got the wall as well coming out of 2. And here just behind them is Jones trying to get past Chase Elliott. The 9 car is 9.
Indeed. Eric Jones, though, feeling trying to put the pressure on. We talked about, could he have a good run here? I think so. This has become his best track by a good distance, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely has. That 43 running in 10th, and Matt, he's put a big gap on everyone behind him, so the top 10's pretty much splintered away.
Yeah, there's obviously some action going on that we didn't see perhaps off the restart, which has let the top 10 get away. And there, thank you, there is the rear shot from the 43 showing absolutely nobody behind him for quite some time. So those guys at the front end of the field starting to stretch it, and Jones looking interested to see if he can make a pass on Chase Elliott.
By the way, Kyle Larson has overtaken J.J. Yaley for 37th, and Larson is still on the racetrack
as we
speak.
Is that update sponsored by Ben Schneider and Last Car on?
Yeah, it should be. Let's pick up the leaders heading to Seth.
Liam Byron not pulling away from Christopher Bell, who in turn isn't getting too far away from Denny Hamlin in his own right, as we look at a replay of the restart for some reason.
Fox is making this their pod's big move of the race. William Byron keeping the lead.
Well, you know, when you haven't had an official lead change, you know, your options are kind of limited now, aren't they?
True story.
Speaking of limited, driver of the day is going to be a no contest at this rate.
Boy, I tell you.
Yeah, everybody's going to vote for J.J. Yaley for that. But anyway.
I tell you what, though, look, the replay that Fox just gave us about, I think the crew's even starting to get into this. They've made it 200 laps, unblemished.
And we root for storylines, not drivers here. But yeah, I kind of want to see how far he can take this now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point now, he has made it over 275 miles without being passed for the lead in this race. And quite honestly, Matt, the only car that has passed him was that lap car of Christopher Bell in stage 1.
Yeah, in that schmozzle that he just avoided the Carson Host of our Riley Herbst incident. So, yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Let's see how far he can go now that he's again fended off those guys on that restart.
Matthew.
Well, if that's the storyline you want, you need to hope for some yellow to not have any green flag pit stops, which we haven't had today outside of half of a cycle when that caution came out. Yeah, he stayed out to keep the lead. That's right. Yes, JT.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Oracle, you know everything, but the New Hampshire race in 2000 was 207 laps, which means...
300.
300.
All right, well, NASCAR Insights is lying. Continue.
They lie to us.
Yep, 300 laps, that one in 2000.
That is a lie.
A lot of
that is a lie.
I think what's going on there is if he can get past 300 miles in the lead, that would set a distance record, would it not?
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yeah.
400-mile race.
There you go. speaking of lies, Matthew, what do you think about the potential of Elon Musk on the Maury show?
Holy moly.
You got that message this week, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Good God. Well, I mean, yeah. We hit turn 5 at Darlington right there.
Josh, you've been with us long enough to know by now that you need to keep your head on a swivel. It could change at any minute around here.
No, it was also...
Yeah, because 1 second I'm under my desk and sorting stuff, and another second I'm trying to get up off the floor to press an interview button.
You know what was also interesting about that race, as I tried to steer us the right direction, Matt? That 2000 Duralube 300 sponsored by the Kmart at New Hampshire that we're talking about with Jeff Burton leading
What a
all
name,
300
by the way.
laps, I tell you.
The Kmart.
But here's the unique fact about that. Burton led every single lap of the race, Matt, but there was one lead change in the race. You want to tell me how?
Ooh, I got it.
Bobby Labonte started on the pole.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah, Labonte started on the pole. Burton started second, passed him on the opening lap. So there was one lead change in that race, even though Burton led every lap. There has not been a lead change today.
Very good.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Let's see. I think we can jump on board the Byron record distance bandwagon here, I feel like, and
okay.
How far he's now a second clear of Christopher Bell out front.
I found out what NASCAR Insights were on about. Byron has led all of, 219 laps, but at the end of lap 207, it was the most consecutive laps led by one driver to start a Cup race since Jeff Burton led all 300 at New Hampshire.
Okay, very good.
Okay, that's what it was. And of course, the last time I remember it happening at any NASCAR National Series race, I'm pretty sure Joey Logano led every single lap of an Xfinity race at Bristol in 2015.
I do believe you're right on that.
Kyle Busch race at Phoenix in that same kind of era, but I don't think he led all of the laps, but he absolutely smashed it.
Now, there might have been one after that, but that's the last one I remember in any of the top 3 series was Logano in 15 at Bristol, spring race.
Yeah, and this has not happened often at all.
Wait a minute. How many did Logano lead them all in the truck race on the dirt a couple of years ago?
He was very close. Now, so here's, as Byron, golly day, is lengthening it out again to 1.5 seconds now. In the Cup Series, it's only happened 3 times by 2 different drivers. We mentioned Burton at New Hampshire, and then the only other 2 times it happened was by Cale Yarborough at Bristol, both times. So, it's only happened 3 times. We'll see. Still a long way to go, and of course we could get green flag pit stops if cautions don't fall correctly, but it's certainly a storyline that I don't know if anyone was expecting to talk about today, especially at this point in the race, but this has been a sensational performance by the 2014. Now, of course, here we are talking about him leading every lap. He won't win the race. Something will happen to keep him from winning it. What a performance.
Yeah, he will lead all of the laps, but because there'll be an overtime caution that takes us past the regular distance, the end won't winning.
Lord, could you imagine that? Could you imagine that if he leads, the scheduled distance is 293 laps. If he leads more than 293 but loses it in overtime, don't get on Twitter for the next week.
Paging Ben Schneider. Oh boy.
Watch Grid Encore tomorrow. Talking of Hendrick cars, there's been a problem for Alex Bowman. He's in the pit lane with the right side tyres off, receiving some work in the right rear corner of the 48 car after a strong run. He was
oh my God. How could I forget this? I know the last time it's happened the most recently in a National Series race. 2 years ago.
Guys, Seth.
2 years ago, Cole Custer led all 25 laps at Chicago.
Yes, correct. Oh, what a nightmare of a attempt that was in a race. Lord, JT and I were on the air in segments for 30 hours trying to get that race done.
Were we?
Well, yes, we were.
Seth Eggert has answered your question. How rare is it for one NASCAR driver to lead every lap of a race across the 3 National Touring Series? In 4,889 points races, only 140 have had a driver lead every lap. That's an average of about 2.86% of races.
I mean, that number's higher than I expected that to be honest.
Yeah, and of course, that's covering all the years. What I just mentioned was modern era, I should note. But yeah, that's covering the entire history of the sport.
And...
because, there were plenty of races. There were plenty of times the Cup Series would go to a Bowman Gray and just run 200 laps, or even 150, and someone would lead all of those. Yes, back in the 60s.
I'm doing some research on the fly because, well, I mean, there's nothing obviously there's nothing to talk about at the front, and this is what we're researching, but... but yeah, Cole Custer, technically, I mean, as BS as it may be, technically he did lead every single lap.
Now, that was a race that finished what? They ran 50 miles of that race?
Something like that, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Let's see here.
Got a funny feeling the official upload on
just to finish
is an hour.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And just to finish up, just to finish this off, because of the whole deal and whatnot, to complete the stage, just because I wanted to do it. The last time it happened in the Truck Series was at Bristol in 2012. It was another one of those where a guy led every lap, but there was one lead change. The truck race at Bristol. Who won the... Cale Gale. Cale Gale wins! Cale Gale was on the pole, but Timothy Peters passed him and then led all 204 laps.
There you go. That sounds...
Yeah. What we...
I miss him in the Truck Series on some of especially on those tracks like Bristol and Martinsville.
And if he led 204, then that would have gone into overtime, too.
Yeah. Correct you are. Right you are, Matty.
Well, it's 3 seconds now, Byron's lead to Bell.
Yep.
Hamlin, Reddick, Logano, the rest of the top 5, Busher, Ty Gibbs. Brian Blaney has crept his way up to 8th, ahead of Chase Elliott and Eric Jones.
Yeah, so that lead has just continued to balloon, just as it's done all day long. The more laps you run, the larger it gets. And it's been incredible. And what's also been amazing about it, Matt, is how many guys have been second in this race. Bell has been second, Logano, Reddick, Wallace, Busher, Priest. All those guys have been top 3, top 5 all day long. They've taken their shots at him. No one has gotten them.
Yeah, indeed. There's been some callers, hasn't there, at the back door of William Byron, but he's fended them all off. Could be a second win for a throwback livery this weekend in International Motorsport after Max Verstappen's win at Suzuka in their tribute livery to the Honda F1 car from the 60s, which Richie Gibber won their first race. Here's Ryan Preece coming to pit road, so we're going to get green flag pit stops here, and now we can watch on to see what they do with the 2014, but Ryan Preece is going to begin the green flag cycle.
Yeah, as much as we've been talking about it, it is worth mentioning that they are here to win the race. They're not here to lead every single lap, so they're not going to throw away their strategy to win just for this. And we'll see when Rudy Fugle brings the 24 to pit road. What do you have for us, Josh?
Just quickly for the JBM side, in classic NASCAR chasm style, latest post, 70 to go, Verstappen still leading. Just quickly as well, Jeff Gluck has pointed it out as well. Last time this happened was, of course, New Hampshire 2000. We've mentioned it so many times before. You're probably bored of us mentioning it. But that was, of course, before Fox Sports first broadcast a NASCAR race, which is why they're milking it so much.
Well, of course, yes.
It was on TNN.
TNN, yep.
That's a channel I missed. TNN.
That race was on the Nashville Network.
Shut up. Because Josh was so infatuated by the name. I should note there is not a "the" in front of Kmart. He was just being stupid when he did that. It was not Kmart. It was just Kmart.
But of course, the Kmart did have the blue light specials.
Whoa,
which was
a little wiggle there from Byron. But anyway, yeah. The blue light special. Yeah, and yeah, it had the creepy light bulb on its commercials before it shut out of the business. Before it went to the bankruptcy.
3 cars under a blanket for second.
Thanks for
Ham
having
and Bristol are all close together.
Indeed, yes.
Some 4 seconds behind the leader now.
Now, something else.
Thanks for having us in for the bankruptcy.
Something else I thought about too, Matt, because this is the 400 at Darlington and not the 500, shorter final stage. So if it goes green throughout, you'll only pit once in this stage. There will not be a second stop after here
Perhaps slightly unsurprisingly, not so many takers on this cycle as we mentioned. Ryan Priest coming down. Oh, here we go. Just as I mentioned it, we've now got a couple more people down in the pit lane.
Looks like John Hunter Nemechek has put it. Alex Bowman is still on pit road, by the way. They've not taken that car behind the wall.
What we also have to remember, it's probably been mentioned, but I lagged out for like 10 seconds, so I didn't hear anything. Of course, if there isn't a caution and we stay green, and Byron has to do a green flag pit stop, it won't happen.
Yeah, right, exactly right. So that's what we're setting up towards here if we don't get a yellow very soon. Ryan Blaney. He went pretty deep, of course, in that first set of green flag stops that were truncated for the Keselowski spin. Just had a change at 6th. Ryan Blaney finessing his way past Chris Buescher. So Blaney back up to 6th. In fact, he was the fastest car on the track that last lap, was Blaney. So trying to, it looks like Logano is going to come to pit road. So Logano from 5th, going to peel down to hit pit lane, JT.
Yeah, Jeff Gluck has just reported from Byron's radio. Byron is told that they will react, so they're not running long, so a caution needs to come soon if it's happening.
We'll see. Caution did come out during a set of green flag stops. The only other time that people have been on pit road under green in this race. Logano.
The one time we are actually wanting a caution.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Logano at 45 miles an hour, peels down and into his pit box. Cale Yarborough throwback livery, 4 tires and Sunoco racing fuel, going in with smoke just pouring out of the right front as Logano is away. He was running 5th. Let's see if that's what brings Byron to pit road. I don't know if they're as much concerned with Logano as they are Bell and Hamlin. And Byron once again will sweep up out of turn 4, still on the racing surface. He'll come by to lead now his 240th consecutive lap of this race with 53 laps to go. Tyler Reddick is on pit road this lap. He was 4th. So now more and more running towards the front are hitting pit road. McDonald's Toyota. Yep.
Reddick comes to the attention of his crew. Right side tyres done. And they'll swing their way around to the left. Wheels changed. A little bit of a weight on fuel. And away goes the 45.
Byron again.
So that's 4 tires, a double cheeseburger, fries, and they were going to put a McFlurry. They were going to give him a McFlurry, but the ice cream machine was broken.
That's right. Chris Buescher. Yeah, Buescher from 6th, hits pit road. 5th, 3rd, Bank Ford. The Fractions Ford from RFK. Hitting pit road.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Josh, you devil, you.
Byron stays out one more lap. His lead on Bell, 4.5 seconds. Hamlin 3rd, Blaney 4th, Gibbs 5th. Still waiting on all of those guys plus more to hit pit road.
Christopher Bell coming this time. We're not seeing it on our pictures. Here he is.
Yep.
The 20 machine to the attention of the Gibbs crew. And a bit slow getting the right rear off. But all is well. And they'll swing around to the other side and get those done. And he's down and away.
And I would imagine that's going to bring Byron in probably this next lap, if I were guessing.
And it looks as if Chisholm's going to have a little baby blooper here to left that's going to end the perfect game coming up.
yeah, it's very good. Well done, Seth. So, see if Byron does indeed come to pit road with 50 laps to go.
Chase Elliott in.
Yep, Elliott comes down pit road. He had gravitated towards the top 10 with all the stops. And here he is. Yes, Byron to pit road. So this will break up the perfect game, but keeps him in line to hold the lead. And with 50 laps to go, the first lap of this race, led not by William Byron, is led by Denny Hamlin, who stays out. So now all of that gets thrown out. Now these guys can focus on winning the race. Need to have a good stop here. Clean stop. Don't speed. Here's Byron, Matt, at the turn 1 into pit road.
Yeah, in the very last pit stall. They need to get this tyre change done perfectly. Right side is done. Around to the left they come. Very, very quick. And like lightning, down and away and clear of pit lane.
Hamlin stays out on the racetrack to lead from Blaney and Gibbs. And then Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, Darrell Wallace Jr., Austin Dillon, and Justin Haley are the ones that have not stopped. But now William Byron has not held on to the lead position here among the stoppers because he stayed out so much longer, Matt. Reddick and Logano and Bell have overtaken Byron because they pitted earlier.
Bell. And here is Bell passing Hamlin, and here comes Byron as well. So there's your difference in tyres. So Byron has gone from the lead to virtual 4th at the moment. Once this cycles through, he's got Chris Buescher next up behind him as he passes the office depot 11 of Denny Hamlin, who's coming to pit lane this time.
Yep.
Real quick, Matthew, I wanted to say that so Josh just gave us another behind-the-scenes message, and it referenced the 2014 Richmond regular season finale. Does that mean we're going to get a drunk guy climb the catch fence?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, goodness.
And get stuck? Is that what that means? But anyway.
Boy, Alan Bestwick was pissed.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, my goodness.
Was he as pissed as Bob Jenkins in 94? Race idiot.
So Hamlin on pit road this lap. That will give the lead to Daniel Suarez, who is yet to stop. And then when Suarez pits, or when he gets overtaken, Tyler Reddick will become the leader of the race. So now we've had 3 leaders. Byron, Hamlin, and now Suarez have led this race. And
46
Reddick,
laps to go.
Yep. Incredible. But now we have to shift our attention as Suarez pits this lap. So Tyler Reddick now assumes the lead. Now we have to shift our attention a little bit here, Matt, to talking about Byron leading every lap. Now the question is he going to win the race?
Yeah, can he get back to Reddick? It's pretty much the length of the back straightaway between Reddick and Byron. Of course, the offset will mean that Byron will have some faster tyres under him later on in the run, but he's stuck behind Cole Custer at the moment coming through turn 4.
And this is the first time that we've had a green flag pit stop cycle go all the way through in this race, as Byron's going to blow by Austin Dillon, who hasn't yet stopped, so he's on old tires. So we don't know in today's race whether it was better to pit early or try the overcut. We just don't know yet because it hasn't happened today.
No, we've talked a lot about that, haven't we, so far this year in terms of the green flag cycles. So this is the first opportunity to see what it brings. But let's give you the updated running order. Tyler Reddick leads, 43 laps to go from Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, William Byron, the dominator of this race, now in 4th position ahead of Chris Buescher. Austin Dillon is 6th, yet to stop. Ryan Preece, who was the very early stopper, is now up to 7th ahead of Chase Elliott, Michael McDowell, and Ross Chastain.
So that's the top 10 as we approach the final 40 laps of this Goodyear 400 on an overcast day in Darlington, where William Byron has absolutely dominated the show. Josh keeps giving us nuggets. Look at him go. behind the
That's
scenes.
where the 2014 Richmond reference came into, in case anybody was wondering.
Well, boy, how things can just get turned on their head in this sport now, Matt.
Well, you know, what's one of the famous Murray Walker lines? Like, anything can happen in auto racing, and it usually does.
What kind
Imagine
of nuggets? Chicken or gold?
I would prefer gold, thank you.
Yeah, chicken nuggets. Anyway, I like saucy nugs.
So just sit there and think about that, Matt. You've put in a long day's work on a hot day in Darlington, and you've absolutely smoked the field. You led 240 consecutive laps, but now there's 40 laps to go, and you don't even know if you're going to win the race.
Yeah, and to pick up on a message in the Grid Network chat, we talk about throwbacks all week. This is a bit of a throwback race with William Byron leading for that long out at the front of the field, as we talked about earlier on with the times of memorial races at the Bowman Grays and on the beach at Daytona, where people would lead from the beginning and not be headed. But he's down to fourth now. He's almost 6 seconds behind Tyler Reddick. So there's a big, I was going to say carrot, but there's a big fry out there for William Byron to try and keep up with.
Jeez.
Boy, Josh is just trying to throw everything in a disarray.
Yeah, he is. Bell has closed in on Logano, and William Byron isn't too far back of that battle, so that might be 3 under a blanket for second as they head to the Earnhardt Towers and Seth. Well,
you know what? William Byron's not digging at this moment. He's not digging cold custard.
Yes.
And Bell goes inside of Logano. Bell makes the pass on Logano.
Slide job there from Bell, as behind them, Byron does get around the Jimmy Spencer throwback scheme driven by Cole Custer.
So that's a second place change. We're getting ahead of Logano. And here is Byron. With those two slowing each other up with the overtake, he has got himself up onto the back of Joey now. So battle on here for third. Logano and Byron. We've seen these two have incident here before at this racetrack.
Tyler Reddick's the man who leads. He'll come off forward, complete another lap. 37 to go at the line.
And that lead is large, Matt. 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, perhaps a perfectly timed pit stop from Reddick. We talked earlier about how good he is at this racetrack. Just waited and waited for perhaps his opportunity to do something with that green flag cycle, and he's grasped it with both hands. Talking of which, William Byron has got past Logano for third.
D. So, Byron on the move, but will he have enough time and distance and race car to do it? Christopher Bell gets around the Austin Hill automobile.
I think he's shown all day. He certainly has the car capable of doing it, but as you mentioned, Seth, is the time what's going to keep him from winning it? Of course, we could get a late yellow. That's always in the mix in these NASCAR races. We haven't seen a lot today. We've seen 6, 4 for incident, as Byron looks to chase down Christopher Bell. This happening 6 seconds behind the race leader, Tyler Reddick. And again, Reddick pitted earlier than Byron and Bell. So these guys, Matt, specifically Byron's going to have more tire life than Reddick will as we get later into the run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all going to be coming down to traffic management between both of them, I guess. Once Byron clears Bell, which he will undoubtedly do in the next couple of laps or so, Reddick is picking his way through the traffic as well at the other end of the racetrack at the moment.
Now, Reddick just got by Brad Keselowski, who goes another lap down. 3 down now for Brad, the defending winner of this race. Michael Jordan, he's played some perfect games in the past.
He was in attendance for Tyler's last win, of course, at Homestead at the end of last season.
Yeah, was in attendance for 2 of his wins last year, Talladega and Homestead. He only missed Michigan on a Monday.
And he was here at the Southern 500 last year, and they actually interviewed him.
Yeah, they did, which is very rare for Michael. He did do a pre-race interview with the Fox folks earlier today.
Turning into, if MJ isn't there, TR doesn't win.
Yeah. We've run 6 races with the Gen 7 car at Darlington. We've only had 1 overtime finish. That was in May of 2023, the race that Byron won here. The average lap of the last caution in those races has been with 26 laps to go. Here's Seth with the battle for second.
Byron inside of Bell. Can he make the move stick? Whoa!
Byron hangs it out there out of turn 4. Got loose, had to pick it up, can't make the pass. They're back in 1.
Through 1 they go. They've got Darrell Wallace Jr. behind them, but he's a lap down in 26th position, unfortunately, for the 23 team. It's gone away from them, but Byron all over the back of Bell, heading back down towards you, Seth.
Indeed he is. They go into turn number 3. Byron again stuck with Wallace, which means he's losing ground to Bell, and they're both losing ground to Reddick.
Yeah, and Wallace pitted much, much later than these guys. That's why he's so competitive with them, Matt. He's on fresher tires.
I bet they've told Wallace on the radio to race Byron as hard as he can here, getting past him with the fresher tyres, and he's doing exactly that. He squeezes through, coming through the exit of turn number 2.
Ryan Blaney is in 7th and is stalking.
Seth, Ryan Blaney is the fastest car on the racetrack now. He was just 3 miles an hour faster than Tyler Reddick that last lap. Blaney pitted much later than everyone. He's the fastest car on the track suddenly. But, Matt, the problem for him is, we're talking about Byron 6 seconds back. Blaney's doubled that.
And he's got Denny Hamlin right in front of him for position, which will be 6th next up. So Ryan Blaney coming on strong in a long run. Kel Surprise. We talked about that earlier on, and here he is now trying to fight his way past the 11.
Indeed, here's Hamlin up against the wall. Blaney way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Hamlin, they're dead even.
Both of these guys, actually, Hamlin and Blaney, pitted the latest of the leaders in the run, Matt. They pitted 7 laps later than Reddick, 4 later than Byron.
They're both going to be coming with a head of steam at the end. It's all could get back together, but feel like the gaps are a little bit too big. Blaney's got a great run off for 2 this time, Seth.
Oh, yeah, he's got a great run. He goes to the inside of Hamlin. Should blow by to make the pass, and he does. So Ryan Blaney moves up into 6th position. Like Hamlin's going to try a bit of a crossover there, but they cut back to Reddick, who's already in 1.
And Byron, when he got passed by Wallace there, really dropped back from Bell, has been unable to reload and recoil. And he's now 7 seconds behind Tyler Reddick. The difference in the pit laps between Reddick and Byron was only 4, but just 4 laps is all Reddick needed, Matt, to not only get by Byron, but put a big gap on him, and that might just win Tyler Reddick this race.
Yeah, the pit crew obviously make a difference. The in and the out lap are absolutely crucial for both guys, for both teams. For everybody, basically, in that. But Reddick now finds himself in a huge gaggle.
Yeah, that might be one issue for Reddick down the street is lap traffic. Jonathan Nemechek like he kissed the wall in front of him.
Yeah, he's got 2 cars side by side in front of him, Nemechek and Keselowski. Reddick down the straightaway is going to push Keselowski into 1, Matt.
Yeah, and he'll go past Nemechek just in front of these guys is SVG as well. Still on the lead lap, by the way. SVG in 22nd place, having a strong day for the Trackhouse team. Reddick gets past Nemechek, so he's averted one perhaps disaster for the moment.
Speaking of Trackhouse, Ross Chastain's on the verge of giving that team a much-needed top 10 finish.
Yeah, running in 10th. Okay, here's Reddick coming towards the line. Let's see how much time he lost to Bell in the lap traffic, Matt. His lead was 5.8 seconds. Bell cut 0.7 of a second out of it with Reddick caught behind the traffic.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of time. And Christopher will be wanting more of that, the same please, but with 25 laps to go, his time is running out.
Time might not be running out for a late yellow, though. Eric Jones and Austin Cindric very close together at 15th.
Yeah, in turn 1, Carson Hocevar just behind them, as well as Cody Ware. And Jones has got ahead. Here comes Ryan Blaney continuing his strong surge. He's going to get past Chris Buescher.
Side by side with Buescher as they cross the line. This is for 5th. Buescher got a good run out of the corner. Blaney's all the way to the apron and 1.
So he'll make the move. He tried the slide job. Wasn't quite clear, but has completed the pass anyway. That will put Buescher back into the grasps of Hamlin behind.
But it's all Tyler Reddick at the front with a 5-second advantage. He exits turn 4.
Well, we talked about how good he's been here the last 3 outings at Darlington with all of those laps led, but no wins to show for it. Maybe things are looking up for Tyler Reddick today here at the track. Too tough to tame. He's got 23 laps to survive here, to survive getting caught in any lap traffic drama, to survive any late race cautions, and to survive any possible rallies from behind with guys on fresher tires. Speaking of guys on fresher tires, Seth.
Ryan Blaney just passed his teammate Joey Logano to grab the 4th spot, and Denny Hamlin's going to follow him into the 5th spot. So Blaney's on the move.
Blaney is on the move, but now, Matt, that he's gotten through Logano, he's got a lot of ground to make up. How about 3 seconds just to get to 3rd place Byron?
Hamlin completes the pass on Logano. Yeah, I think that's probably it for Blaney's charge in terms of more forward progression, unless we get a yellow, of course. Long way forward to the guys ahead of him.
Yeah, indeed. I used this analogy maybe I shouldn't, because I used this analogy last year at Richmond, and we all know how that ended. But it's kind of like that team that's like trying to make a move in baseball, in the wild card race or whatnot. Like, yeah, the number of teams in front of you aren't that far, but the games back is a big mountain, or vice versa. You're not that many games back, but you got a lot of teams to pass. Blaney only needs to pass 3 cars. Problem is he's 8 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, correct. And, of course, we talk about the tire advantages and who has it right now, but then we also, out of the other sides of our mouths, Matt, talk about what if we get a late yellow? Well, all of that will go out the window if we get a late yellow, because everyone will be on pit road.
That's right, exactly right. Everyone will come for fresh boots. It's about the length of the pit straight, or each straight, because they're both equidistantly lengthed this week between the leader and Blaney. So the length of the straightaway between 1st and 4th.
That's 1,229 feet, the advantage that Reddick has. With 20 to go, here he comes out of turn 4. Now 19 laps remain in the Goodyear 400 at Darlington.
I'm surprised that William Byron hasn't managed to get past Christopher Bell, I'll be honest, in 2nd place, but matters little when the 45 car is this far clear out front.
Yeah, Bell had picked up another couple of tenths the previous lap, but now Reddick gained a 10th back on him. 3 tenths separating Boy, yeah. Blaney has cut the deficit Byron to less than 2 seconds.
Boy, here he comes. I tell you.
He's going to run out of time, I think, but dang if he's not making an effort at it.
He's going to get that at fast. Yeah, he's going to try to do what he can here, and if he can get some help from traffic, Matt, he might get up to 2nd.
Yeah, a couple of cars in front of Bell and Byron. At this current progression, he will certainly get past these 2, but he will not catch Reddick, unless we get another yellow. But out of turn 2 they come, and Blaney, within a lap, is going to be on the back of William Byron.
Well, guys, it's just got to be a disappointing day if you're a fan or anything associated with the William Byron team.
Sure, you ain't kidding.
I mean, you dominate this will go down as one of the biggest heartbreak and biggest nothing to show for it results in NASCAR history. I mean, goodness gracious, a historical pace he was setting, and now he's not going to win. He's not going to finish 2nd, more than likely, and probably isn't going to finish 3rd.
Yeah, as I look here, as Blaney continues to close in, he led the first 243 laps of the race. If we don't go to overtime, he's going to end up leading 83% of the laps. Here comes Bell, Byron, and Blaney, all the Bs out of turn 4, and Blaney is on the whip. Here he is to the inside of William Byron with 16 to go, looking for position number 3.
He's going to take it. Byron got loose coming out of 4. The rear end was stepping out, and he lost the momentum down the front straightaway. Blaney sweeps through, puts one in his pocket, straight away eyes forward to the back of the 20.
Indeed, and he's just going to blow by him as if Bell was standing still. Ryan Blaney will move into 2nd place. What a drive in the final laps here by car 12.
15 laps to go. 5 seconds is the gap.
Put the piano on hold to mention a comment earlier on. Ryan Blaney is charging here. Can he dramatically somehow wheel his way to the back of the 45 car?
I want to say this. I don't think it's not as big of a discrepancy, but I want to bring something that, Matthew, only you would know. This reminds me of the 2003 Busch race here, the day after the Craven Busch finish. Remember when Stacey Compton had about a 20-second lead on ridiculously old tires?
Oh, yeah.
He nursed it for as long as he could, but Bo Dynamite Murray kept getting him, and kept getting him. I like stuff like this. Let's see what kind of a chase he can provide here.
Okay, so Bell and Byron were not catching Reddick. Matt, because their tire advantage on Reddick was 4 laps. Blaney's is 8 laps. He was massively faster than Reddick the last lap. As Reddick crosses the line, let's see how much Blaney's taken out of his lead this time. He's taken another half a second. The problem for Blaney, Matt's going to be getting through the traffic between the two.
Yeah, the time is being lost at the moment because Reddick is stuck in the traffic. But there's only a few more laps to go. Blaney is about to get to that traffic.
Indeed he is, but Ryan Priest seemed to be doing a good enough job of holding up Tyler Reddick just now. Reddick finally gets around him, but my goodness, so we'll see how much more just gets cut off. Jordan looks on.
Here's Blaney on the charge again across the line. He took another 6 tenths.
Chomping. Much like Michael will be doing with his fingernails down there at the moment. As Blaney continues
Well, it's a
to
weekend
go
for chomping, isn't
sideways
it?
off the corner. Here comes Blaney, the first of the lap cars.
Got to get around McDowell quick, Seth.
Got to. Cannot waste any time, and he doesn't. He gets around McDowell with ease. So good job by Blaney. Let's see what it is this time.
Would certainly hope that the spotters are working upstairs to try to get this traffic out of the way. That time, when making a pass, he only picked up a 1/10 of a second. 11 laps to go.
Through turn 1, right up against the fence. Ryan Blaney, who is the next man that he's got ahead of him? It's his old teammate, Brad Keselowski, who's absolutely chewed into the back of coming out of turn 2.
And again, he wastes no time with that 6 car. So Blaney gets by him. Reddick continuing to nurse the lead. They're coming to 10 to go.
Reddick just feathered the wall out of turn 4. Do that a couple of more times, and that'll be more time that he lost. Even making a pass, Matt, he picked up 4 tenths.
Interesting to see hear what they're telling Tyler on the radio, if anything, as Blaney now gets to Ryan.
Oh, Ryan!
Coming out of 2, he caught him in a real tough spot, but he'll get the slipstream down the back straight. Priest moves over and lets him have the line.
There you go. So Blaney is going to get by Ryan Priest now, his best friend, Bubba Wallace. What does Bubba do now? Protect his teammate or his best friend?
Well, here's Blaney rim riding out of turn 4. He's not going to gain much time this lap because he did catch Priest in such a difficult spot. Only a 1/10 of a second. 9 laps left.
Through 1, Blaney with the grappling hook out here, reeling in Wallace. What will Wallace do? Yes, Michael, I want to see the cars too instead of looking at you.
Whoa! He got the wall in 3. He gave it a pretty big and got a little bit sideways.
Yeah, well, we'll see. If they are telling him anything, he's going to be pressing. Blaney gets through Wallace. It's down to 2.1 seconds. There's no traffic between first and second.
The next car for Ryan Blaney to catch is the race leader. It'll be 7 laps to go at the end of this one. Shane Van Gisbergen is next up for Tyler Reddick, but he's not close enough to make a move on him this time. Here comes Blaney.
Blaney continuing to stalk, about a 2-second advantage. Ryan Blaney eating up the deficit, chewing up big chunks of Reddick's lead.
Picked up a second in the last 4 laps. This lap, how much has he picked up? It's half a second. What he's gained, 1.6 is the deficit.
I think Tyler got the wall again in the middle of 3 and 4 that time. Just give it a little bit of a rub. That would have slowed him down. Blaney is flying up to the end here. We did not think we were going to see a finish like this.
No, we didn't. And we know Reddick likes that wall area, but he needs to be careful. Blaney's up against it too, though. He also needs to be careful. Blaney continuing to just smother the deficit.
One of the closest finishes, one of the best finishes in NASCAR history came in this race in 2003. You heard it at the start of the show. Behind that chaos, Dave Blaney was catching the 2 leaders quickly. He just ran out of time and finished 3rd. Today, his son Ryan goes for the lead heading to turn 3.
Oh, he is swallowing him up. He's going to make the pass now almost. Inside he goes. Had to back off a little bit. Reddick keeps the lead, but Blaney there.
5 laps to go, and now Reddick's going to start driving defensive, Matt, to try to take the air off the nose of Blaney, just like Briscoe did against Busch.
Blaney went to the inside there, and I don't think he liked it in 3 and 4. This time he goes high. Reddick wiggles up in front of him to make the block in the middle of 2, but Blaney is right on his tailgate.
Right there, Reddick driving as defensive as he can, but it might all be in vain. Ryan Blaney drives it into 3 like he's done all day long. He can't get close enough, though. Reddick's going to keep the lead.
Out of turn 4, Reddick swoops from top to bottom. Blaney stays up against the wall. Final 4 laps at Darlington.
Here comes Blaney, sticking his nose down the inside, this time in one. Reddick wiggles, they're side by side. There's going to be contact, there is a little bit of a touch. Reddick has to get out of the throttle. Ryan Blaney is through with 3.5 laps to go. And just like at the start of the race, Kyle Larson loses it off at turn number 2. Drop the piano, caution is out.
My God, can you possibly? He ran him down from so far back, took the lead, and a yellow came out.
Are you kidding me?
This is stupefying what just happened.
Are you kidding me?
I can't believe it.
Merciful heavens.
You would think at this point you could believe what happens to Ryan Blaney. I still can't believe it.
Kyle Larson's car looks exactly like it did on lap 5, or whenever it was that he had his incident at the beginning of the race. Where did he even come from? Was he in front of the leaders? That was a strange camera cut to see the Larson just sliding across the racetrack. But goodness me, we're under caution. And now what happens in terms of tyre strategy and all that mess? Let's have a look what happened here.
Reddick got the wall.
Reddick got the wall off of... Oh, and Wallace clears out Kyle Larson.
Larson just Wallace bulldozed Larson around.
Oh, merciful heavens.
Again, guys. Race manipulation. I'm sorry, that is clear as day.
Oh,
my
brother.
Lord. And now you have to pit. We've seen over the years, and of course we're always the one that brings up the 2005 race. You have to pit here. But of course, if you're Ryan Blaney, you're in a no-win situation. Oh, Lord.
I mean, this is...
Oh, dear.
I'm sure if you've been listening to me enough, Matthew, you know that my new Vern-esque line when I react to something is, oh, brother. Well, I mean that in a bad way this time. Good night.
We will go to overtime. JT, what do you have?
Going to the Ken Squire 88.
As NASCAR Chasm quoted earlier on in the night, I knew it was going to be a bad weekend for Kyle Larson when he already had 3 stripes on his car.
Oh, dear. Matt, you have to...
that was going to be the past for the lead. We were going to have a great discussion about the finish and what a great race it was. Narrative changes in a blink of an eye. And we've still got the finish to get to. Sirius tomorrow is going to be...
Oh, Lord.
Madness, as I'm sure Twitter is. Here we come then for pit stops.
You have to pit, right?
You got to. Absolutely got to.
Who takes 2? Does anyone gamble on 2?
No one's done it all day.
JT, can we get pit stops?
Get their focus right. They had that bad pit stop 2 stops ago. 4 tires here. Tyler Reddick comes to a stop in his box as well. 4 tires. They'll just take a brief look at that right side, make sure everything looks good. It sounds like it is. And we'll go up to Regan.
Denny Hamlin in the 11 car on the radio as soon as the caution came out said, free me up some. Chris Gallett asked him, what do you need for a short run? And that is exactly what he wanted. That and another quick pit stop.
All 12 got beat. All 20 lead lap cars came to pit road.
Denny Hamlin! Denny Hamlin won the race off from Reddick, Byron, and Blaney.
Boy.
Again, the pit crew of the 12 team can't get it done.
Oh my God, my picker winner is still alive. What is this?
And much like last week, we're going to have talk about...
Guys, Byron's back in this.
Yeah, he is. They're all in it now.
So Hamlin beating Reddick out. We'll reset the order for you when we get it confirmed, but the tables have yet turned once more. Didn't see anyone taking 2. Todd Gilliland has made a huge jump. into 9th place, if that order on screen is correct. Zane Smith is into the top 6.
You know, in another world, Ryan Blaney already is up to 40 wins and 2 championships.
This is what it was like being a Kyle Larson fan in the Ganassi days, Matthew.
I mean,
Blaney's 4.
Can you even imagine the second he gets the lead? The second he gets the lead, the corner he gets the lead, Wallace gets out a Caterpillar skid steerer and
steer loader.
There you go. He couldn't say it. I won't either. And just bulldozes Kyle Larson 100 and however many laps down around. Oh. Well, the race that William Byron won.
You're about to get a clip in just a moment here.
Well, now the race that William Byron won here in the spring 2 years ago, Matt, that was the famous race that went to overtime and had everyone up in arms over Ross Chastain.
Oh, yes.
With some craziness in overtime, not just with him. Going to get overtime here, and it's going to begin with Denny Hamlin as the control car of the race. Nothing ever happens in overtime when Denny Hamlin is in control.
Matt, did you get that?
Oh, yes.
It's the quote from Vern, but it's in the chat.
Yes.
Regarding Blaney. That's what I said too.
So should be getting one to go this time. Now we certainly believe that Hamlin, who has not led on a restart today, no one's led on a restart today other than William Byron, but you would imagine he'll choose the outside. Who's brave enough to choose the inside? And Matt, would you rather be inside of 1 or outside of 2? I guess Tyler Reddick just answered that for us.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
God. Oh,
it'll be Hamlin and Reddick on the front row, Blaney and Byron on the second, Bell and Elliott on the third. 4th row will be Busch and Buescher. 5th row will be Logano and Chastain. That's the top 10 for the restart. Hamlin has won here 4 times, and he's looking to go back-to-back after scoring his Martinsville win last week. Matt is muted. I hope he knows that.
I got booted. I'm back in. Sorry. I didn't know. But well done.
Oh, boy.
So here we go then. Perhaps 2 laps to decide it all.
Seth, here we go. Overtime at Darlington.
Reddick, Hamlin, Blaney, Byron, the whole crowd's there. Hang on to the edge of your seats, folks. This one's going to get wackier than Taylor Swift's Love Life. A passionate Darlington crowd full standing for an overtime restart. Matthew.
Off of turn 4, Hamlin the control car on the outside of row 1. Tyler Reddick to his inside. William Byron on his back bumper. Green flag waves. Overtime begins at Darlington. It's a good restart from Hamlin. He is clear of Reddick. He's clear of the field in turn 1.
Hamlin leading. Byron and Reddick side by side. Byron with a slight nose in front on the high line. Bell has cleared Blaney, so Blaney is back to 5th. Contact between Byron and Reddick coming out of 2. That'll leave the door open to Christopher Bell to make it 3 wide.
And all this is helping Denny Hamlin. He is driving away. Byron way on the outside, almost in the wall, trying to get Reddick. Still 3 wide for second Bell lap.
But it's Denny Hamlin clear to the lead at the white flag, and he begins the final lap with a massive lead of 12 car lengths.
He is clear. No matter what happens, the next flag ends the race. Hamlin is clear through turn number 2. Byron is second. Bell has got past Reddick and up to 3rd place.
Last weekend, he dominated at Martinsville. Today, he's going to pull off highway robbery. Denny Hamlin clear for the win off 4.
His 56th career win will come as an absolute steal. Checkered flag at Darlington. Denny Hamlin wins the Goodyear 400. Hamlin scores his 5th Darlington win, beating William Byron to the line, followed by Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney. Denny Hamlin, out of absolutely nowhere, scores the win in a Carl Edwards throwback. Let's see if he ever wants to try a backflip. Let's see if he has the flag out this week.
Yeah, true story.
Byron dominates second. Reddick was in the lead late, fourth. Blaney was gone, fifth. Hamlin. Matthew, this had to be the only laps of the race he led. Oh, right, he did lead that one lap under green flag pit stop.
Yeah, he led some laps under green flag pit stops on a day where William Byron led the first 243 laps. He finishes second to Denny Hamlin, who led 10.
There won't be a more unpopular winner of this race.
Boy, you're not kidding.
And here comes a controversial message from yours truly. Let's see what pots we can stir today, because I don't give a blank anymore. As Denny Hamlin begins to celebrate. One person can only take so much over 2 days' time.
Yeah, true.
Good night. Are you kidding me?
So here's Hamlin on the main straightaway celebrating the win. You know, there's been races at Hamlin. Listen, 2008 at Richmond, that was the famous Kyle Busch wrecking Dale Earnhardt Jr. race, remember? No one remembers that also in that race, Denny Hamlin led over 370 of the 400 laps, but a flat tire late kept him from winning.
No one remembers that, but it's so true because that was one of the more dominating performances you could ever think of.
Via Collins Janis, who's watching, by him through Jeff Gluck, he said Larson checked up when Reddick hit the wall in front of him, which led to Bubba running into the back of Kyle Larson. But we'll get all that after the day is done, as we get a replay of the restart.
Wreck avoidance would be nice there. Anyway. What a day at Darlington, huh?
Oh, it never fails.
I tell you. Rubber band race. We talk about it all the time.
Nick DeGroot with the tweet of the day. I don't know who's going to be more annoyed after this race slipped away from them, Ryan Blaney or William Byron.
And or Tyler Reddick.
That too.
Reddick getting a talk from Michael Jordan. Hamlin still isn't out of the car.
Yeah, hurry up. I'd like a quick off here. Skids to a stop on the top of the finish line. Joe talking to Christopher Bell on pit lane. Remember all that time earlier, sort of mid to late part of last year, where Jacobs Racing hadn't won?
Yeah.
For all that time. And they've won 5 now of the first 7.
Yeah, 5 of the first 8. Today was 8, yeah. Blaney having a playful word with Michael Jordan, that is.
Doesn't look too annoyed, but I'm sure once he sits down later and watches this back, he will be. Hamlin out of the car. Josh, can we get some atmos, please?
Yeah, he plays the role so well. You got to give him that.
Denny Hamlin scores his 56th career victory, breaking a tie for 11th with Rusty Wallace. Denny, but I got to ask you about that final pit stop. A week ago, you dominate the race. This week, your pit crew gets you out first. Was there ever a doubt in your mind after they did that you were going to win this?
I mean, there's 2 people I really love right now, my pit crew and Kyle Larson. So he had a little assist there, so thank you. But, man, the pit crew just did an amazing job. They won it last week. They won it this week. It's all about them. Thanks, Sport Clips. They have such a big deal here in Darlington, South Carolina. Shout out to Gordon and the whole team. We'll see you on Victory Lane.
This is a Carl Edwards throwback. Any backflip for you today?
I'll pass. If Carl's here, he's more than welcome to jump off the car.
Denny Hamlin wins in Darlington. Jamie?
Well, Ryan Blaney brings it home 5th there. Ryan, what a battle back. You finally get the lead, and the caution comes out. What goes through your mind at that point?
Oh, no. Yeah, I thought we had the race won, and yeah, so I don't really know. I have to watch the replay of how that yellow came out and watch it back. But we did a good job of great strategy call of kind of running long and giving us time to get down or run down. You know, the 45. A lot of those guys that short pitted. So it was a great call and great car. I mean, great Dutch boy, Menards, Ford Mustang, just really fast and never really got to control the race. Like, I feel like nothing ever really went our way. Like pit road, we got to work on a little bit, and caution coming out during the cycle and set us way back. So like, I feel like we just kept making up spots. But really proud of the 12 folks for giving me a fast car. It just wasn't meant to be. I really wanted and would have liked to have won here. That would have been really, really neat. But
no, that's a bad idea. Don't show them the replay.
Yeah. Okay. We'll stack up, I guess. But yeah, just wasn't meant to be. But proud of the effort, and we'll keep plugging along.
All right, Ryan Blaney and the 12 team gets their first top 10 in the last 6 weeks, Mike.
He definitely isn't happy, is he?
No. Well, no. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I thought he'd be cutting a backflip and singing "Kumbaya" and he lost another race like that.
All right, guys. Final thoughts as I step off microphone. Just make sure you know that. Final thoughts and driver of the day. Go around the horn. Start with Matt.
Well, tremendous race throughout, really. There wasn't much to talk about through most of it with William Byron dominating, but we got a three-part race, didn't we? We had the domination, then we had the catch from Ryan Blaney, and then we had the crazy finish. Seth said it earlier about driver of the day. Going to be difficult to not take it away from the guy that Fox is just talking to. It has to go to William Byron, and he really should have won this race.
Yeah. Yeah, he's my driver of the day. No question. I mean, when you dominate a race at a historic clip the way he did, listen, I'm the guy who likes the entertainment, who doesn't like the boring races, though I do tip my hat to dominant drivers. But there was a point where if I were watching this race as a fan, there was the point, my fan mind hit me about 60 laps to go, and I was like, you know what? If you're going to be this dominant, just lead them all and win.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's multiple reasons why no one will shed too many tears for William Byron, but objectively speaking, it's hard not to feel bad for him and that team, given that they nailed the setup and they were perfect all weekend. And then a long green flag run, a not so good pit stop, and not enough time and too much racing to get the second on the last restart. Cost him. And it's a shame, but that's the way it goes in racing, and I know people don't like it, but I'll say it. In sports sometimes, best team sometimes doesn't always win. Some stuff happens. But that's the nature of the beast in NASCAR, and we go to Bristol next week, and a lot of these guys will be right in the mixer again, I would imagine.
Denny Hamlin out of the car in victory lane with his crew, confetti going everywhere. His first back-to-back win, can you believe, in 13 years in the Cup Series.
That's hard to believe. That is hard to believe. Just like it was hard to believe that last week was his first win in like a decade at Martinsville. Last week. So, you know, Josh T, you got anything to share with this conversation?
Hello.
Yes, you got anything to add? Thoughts and driver of the day? We're waiting for Matthew to take a few more deep breaths and get us out.
Yeah, waiting for Matthew to actually return to his own broadcast. Yeah. It was not the best way to end. Well, it was an all-right way. Bit of a snooze fest, and then it livened up during the end. Classic NASCAR race. Let's not go on to Twitter and go to Ben Snyder's profile, Matthew Owens.
Well, that was a race.
It certainly was.
It was indeed.
A race of three halves.
I think they call them thirds, but for some reason, I think over at RFK they can put 5 thirds together.
Very good.
All right.
Well, as they say, you can't spell Darlington without RFK.
As they say.
Well, yeah, you can. There's no K in Darlington. What are they teaching you in that year-round school in the UK?
Oh, dear. Okay.
No F or K in there. No.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the grammatical lesson. This has been a rather strange ending to this race, and bad timing's happening over here, so we're just going to leave.
I think that's a good idea.
We're just going to pack up and leave. And my thanks to everyone here, for Matt White, Seth Eves, JT jumping in, everyone for listening on USRN and on JBM. We say so long from Darlington. We're Denny Hamlin in a Carl Edwards throwback. Should I say this? Sure. In a Carl Edwards throwback, he flips off everyone with a strange win in the Goodyear 400 at Darlington.
So what do we do now? Why don't we get kicked out of an acro meet and go to the trackside grill?
Oh, heavens. Good night from South Carolina.
And here on the JBM side, you can join us next weekend, where all 3 series take to the Bristol Oval. Hopefully the track camera will be back up and running, and we can bring you live trackside views for the first time this year here at Bristol. Next weekend, it's a busy one. All hands on deck, and we hope you can join us next week. For the week before Easter, well, there's chocolate at Easter. There'll be a bit of a chocolate mess at the end of next weekend. See you then.